welcome back to Buried in Horror, where we're bringing the creepy, the campy, and the chilling straight to your ears. And today we're doing something a little different, a horror twist on one of our most favorite iconic reality TV shows of all time. Picture this, a remote, isolated location, grueling challenges, alliances made and broken, and only one victor. That's right, we're simulating our very own season of Survivor with some of the most iconic figures in horror history. But we're not stopping at the killers and villains, we're throwing in some of horror's most legendary heroes and final girls to see how they measure up in the ultimate game of survival. Will the slashers dominate the island, or will the survivors use their grit and strategy to come out on top? Let's get it going for a battle for the ages. So grab your torches and let's get to it. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to see how this is going to go. So, for those who might not know, we already did one version of this, but the footage ended up being corrupted because my audio wasn't included. But, that ended up being kind of a good thing because while we are redoing this and doing this for a second time, we found out that we can add like actual statistics to certain characters to make them more lore accurate. So, if anything, that kind of helped us in a way. So, I'm kind of glad and excited even more for how this is going to go.
Yeah, we simulated it the first time. I mean, I think we were both at the end emotionally invested in the finals. We won't spoil what happened until the end of maybe this season. We'll kind of go through what happened in our last simulation
Mm.
and to see how different or maybe how similar it might be. So I'm very excited to do this with you. I have watched a lot of early Survivor. I have not kept up with the most recent seasons, but some of that was just the most raw television that I enjoyed watching in terms of reality television. I don't know about you and your relationship with Survivor.
I freaking love the show. I haven't seen the most two recent seasons because of like the later seasons in like the 40s. I don't know why they just feel kind of similar. So I decided to just take a
Mm,
break because they just felt like the same exact things were happening as compared to
yeah.
like the earlier and middle of the road seasons where they all just felt so unique and they had like great characters thrown in there, you know. And not to say that like these new seasons of Survivors don't have that. It just feels like most of these newer seasons, it's like these people coming onto the show and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm such a big Survivor fan. I know everything about this game. I'm so gonna win." That's pretty much what it's been for like the past five
Yeah.
seasons. So I'm just taking a little break from watching the newer seasons. But overall, I freaking love the show. The concept of it is great. Jeff Probst is hot. I really love it, and I'm really excited that we're able to do this because I didn't even think this was a possibility that we could do. But I am extremely happy.
Heck yeah. Kind of mirroring off what you said about them all kind of seeming the same more recently. I think Survivor kind of lost its charm when it did go to these remote places around the world, from Survivor Africa, Survivor Guatemala, Survivor China, going around the world and putting them in these settings definitely made Survivor very unique.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they film now in just one place, just because of,
Fiji.
ease of ease of the getting money and all that stuff now for it, um, definitely has dampened the feel of what Survivor was originally. But
Yeah.
all in all, we enjoy the concept of Survivor and we love horror even more. So the fact that we can merge our horror favorites into this survival esque competition setting is going to be a lot of fun.
I agree.
So we're gonna kick it off, and we're gonna kind of run through our tribes that we precast for the show. We're going to kind of run over the characters themselves, where they're from if you're not familiar, our thoughts and opinions on each of the characters, and then we're gonna kind of give our own foresight on what we might think could happen with some of these characters. We're gonna try to make sure that our prior simulation does not influence our decisions or insight on these characters because they could perform completely different now, being more accurate to themselves as their characters. Um, so we're gonna run through our two tribes. So I have the Dead Spire tribe, and Cameron is running with his Bloodbound tribe. We'll alternate one on one and go through our list from the top down to the bottom right. Starting first is Adelaide Wilson. She comes from the movie Us. If you have not seen that, I personally enjoy Us quite a lot. She's a very interesting character as she's kind of an anti hero in the sense that this version of Adelaide is not the original version of who she was. If you have not seen Us, Us delves into the idea of a tethered or a clone copy of you living underground in kind of like a subway network. Have you seen Us?
Yes, I have seen it once.
So at the very beginning of this movie, young Adelaide is at a boardwalk with her family. She goes into like a house of mirrors, sees her reflection in the mirror, but it's not mimicking exactly herself, and she ends up getting switched with her tethered self, who then grows up and becomes Adelaide Wilson, who lives above the ground. So she's a kind of weird figure who isn't very honest and truthful about her like where she came from.
Right.
So I think she's gonna be an interesting addition to the tribe and see how she plays out with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So going over to your tribe, your first tribe mate.
We have Asami Yamazaki. Asami Yamazaki is a character that most people probably won't know. She's from an older movie, I believe it's from the 80s, called The Audition, and is one of my favorite horror movies. I would say it leans more on the lines of like being a psychological thriller with aspects of body horror in it. And Asami is just, she seems like a real character. Other than like the really freaky stuff she does at times, like personality wise, she seems just like an obsessive girlfriend or something like that, obsessive partner. And I think she is going to be really great in this because she knows how to manipulate people. She knows how to make people think how she wants them to think. So I think she's going to be really good at that. The main problem with her is that she is kind of clingy. So she might not know when to let go of certain alliances and certain tribe mates, and that could end up hurting her in the game. But overall, I'm really looking forward to see how Asami does. I think she stands a really good chance.
Moving into my next tribe member, it's Sydney Campbell. Sydney is from one of my favorite horror comedy spoofs, Scary Movie. I mean, there's not much to say about her. She portrays the dumb blonde motif to a T. She is an amazing actress, and I'm just excited to see kind of what shenanigans she's gonna get up with some of these fellow tribe members that she's gonna be competing with.
All right. Before I get into the next card, I want to say I just looked it up. I was wrong about the audition. It was made in 1999. It just looks like it's older than it is. Um, so anyway, next contestant is Horny the Clown. Now, Horny the Clown is an interesting SOB. Um, if you can't tell, he is a villain. you know. So Horny the Clown is just he's a goofball, really. Like he doesn't really have too much of a personality behind that. Before he became Horny the Clown, I guess he was a bit of a loner and a bit of an outcast who got made fun of a bunch. Um, and then he resorted to being what he is now, Horny the Clown, and he's just a foul mouthed, shit talking, pun driven, intercom speaking clown. And do I see him doing well? Maybe in challenges. I think he could be a potential challenge beast, but I don't see him doing well in a social game. Now, Drive Through, I'm gonna be, you know, completely upfront, is not a good movie. It is a guilty pleasure of mine. I love it because of just how goofy and bad it is. I think it's great, and it's just something I can always just throw on if I just feel like I have nothing else to watch. I'll put on Drive Through because it's just so dumb. But anyway, yeah. Horny the Clown, I'm excited to see what happens with him and who he annoys.
Moving forward with someone from the most recent Halloween movie, Halloween Ends, it's Corey Cunningham. Corey's an interesting character who starts off in one of the most, I think, jaw-dropping, iconic scenes I have ever seen in a horror film, let alone a Halloween film. Corey's going to be an interesting character because he has some social um, differences that he's not really able to fully comprehend, and definitely in this social game, similar to Horny, and possibly Asami, is going to have some struggles as well. He's not the most tough brute man out there, so it's gonna be interesting to see his dynamic with everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Alright, next up we have Kristen Parker. Now, I'll fully admit, I think out of all of the people on my tribe, this is the one I know the least about, because I don't really remember her films as much as I do the others. But Kristen Parker is from A Nightmare on Elm Street Parts 3 and 4, Dream Warriors, and Dream Child. Kristen Parker becomes the new final girl in Dream Warriors. Spoiler alert, I don't care. It's an old ass movie. If you haven't watched it, you probably weren't going to anyway. But Kristen Parker, she's a great character, and following after Nancy from the original, you know, she's obviously not going to fill the shoes perfectly, but I think she is a great contender for it. I think she is a very strong character. Like, she endures so much pain and suffering, and especially mental fatigue. So I think when it comes to like strategic ability, I think it's going to be a coin flip on whether she's going to succeed at it or not. Because she's had so much mental pressure going on in her life, so I don't know if that's going to benefit her or end up hurting her. I feel like in terms of strength though, like physical, I think she is probably the strongest woman on our tribe next to Pearl.
Just all right. Moving into my next one, someone that you may or may not know. I know it's Cameron, one of Cameron's newfound obsessions. Jordan from the movie They Them. Jordan is sent to a gay conversion camp, where they don't identify as male or female and just identify as non-binary. Jordan has quite a bit that they endure, both mentally and physically, while at this camp. Um, and I'm just really excited to see where they can continue to go. I feel like they might struggle with being accepted by maybe some other tribe members. Um, and I know they're going to have a lot to say in terms of getting into possible arguments. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's Jordan.
All right. So next up for me is a personal favorite of mine. I really adored this character, and it's she's what made Child's Play 2 really special in my eyes. It's Kyle from Child's Play 2. Now, she's also in some of the later Chucky stuff, specifically the show, but this version is from Child's Play 2. I think Kyle in Child's Play 2 is so great. Dare I say, I think I might like her more than Andy in that movie because I she's just so fascinating of a character. She is Andy's foster sibling, and it shows like the foster sibling bond in a way we hadn't seen at the time. Dare I say, in all of cinema, it shows how strong their bond is, and just Kyle at her core is a very warm-hearted person. You can tell by how easily she warms up to Andy and how she instantly wants to take care of her new little brother. I think Kyle also in terms of strength, she isn't the strongest in this form of her. She's definitely stronger more when she's in the show, but I think she is definitely going to be one of the women this season to watch out for in terms of strength. I am
Nice.
really looking forward to seeing how she does.
All right, moving into my fifth tribe member, it's Joseph. Joseph comes to us from the movie Creep. Joseph is a complete and utter weirdo who goes by many of different names. He might be even more iconically known to don his full-on like wolf werewolf mask. He is very much socially just not all there. He's exactly as the movie says, creep. So I'm very curious to see Joseph and his interactions with some of the other tribe members, because no one else really in this tribe gives full on Joseph energy that Joseph is going to give.
Right. So, next up for me, it is a character that is pretty well known, even if you don't know horror. You've probably seen this character. Dare I say, the most iconic out of all of these characters. It's the
Mhm.
little shit himself, Leprechaun. I don't think I need to say too much about him. He is a greedy little shit. He pretty much only cares about his gold. Um, he will give you some terrible, terrible jokes. You'll make weird ass remarks, and he'll do shit you don't want him to do, and he will make you uncomfortable. But I will say, when it comes to like his mentality, I do think he is smart. I do think we just don't see it shine enough in the films, but I feel like he is a genuinely smart guy. But whenever like the mention of gold get brought up, he gets really flustered. So unless people can find out that that is his kryptonite to really make him like a target as like a more paranoid kind of player, I think Leprechaun in terms of like strategy and mental game, he could go far, and I'd say he's definitely a contender for one of the highest in this, surprisingly. But yeah, I'm excited for Leprechaun.
Yeah, hell yeah. Moving on from one kind of creature to another, from our both of our favorite horror comedy movie, uh, Jumbo from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Jumbo serving as one of the key, most memorable killer clowns besides our little boxer man Shorty, and of course the Clownzilla. Jumbo, I think, is rightfully so that he is the first clown to come and appear in Survivor. While this might be a weird place for you to see him, I think that he brings a great load of brute energy. Um, he's probably not going to be as socially great since he's not going to have any of his other clowns with him. But it's going to be an interesting dynamic to see him performing these challenges and also see him go against a fellow Killer Clowns cast member that you also have.
Right. So, for me, I brought another Killer Clowns character. I brought the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Tobacco. Mike the Tobacco. He
I
is.
spelled it correct.
Yeah, you spelled it correct this time. For people that don't know, Austin spelt it wrong last time and spelled it Tab instead of Tob for tobacco. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited for Mike. He is just, I think he's one of the clumsiest like male protagonists we've seen in horror. He is a goofball. But he takes things seriously still. Like when he realized the clowns are starting to invade and that shit was getting serious, he took things seriously. He wasn't messing around, you know. So I think he has that little off and on switch he can just turn on. I feel like he has that dumb facade on default, but he can just switch into a strategical, smart kind of person if he feels like it. Sure, he's still going to be a bit of a goober when he does it, but I'm really looking forward to him. And he's also kind of cute.
All right. Well, moving on from one QD to another, from Scream 2, it's Nancy Loomis. Nancy, you don't need much introduction. Obviously, she is one of the two ghosts faced from Scream 2, kind of giving retribution to her son killed in the first movie. Nancy, while definitely not a huge physical threat, I mean, she has her moments. Um, she's going to be an interesting dynamics, obviously serving more of that motherly figure, being one of the older human tribe members in this entire season. She's actually also here with another fellow Scream person that's going to be revealed a little bit later on, other than the fact that you can see him on screen right now. But yeah, Nancy Loomis is here, and she's going to let you hear about it.
Oh, yeah, she will. Alright, next up for me is a really new character, I'd say. I think, did she come out in 2022?
Yeah.
Okay. I can remember that was 22 or 23. But
Yeah.
again, she is a really recent character. Is the one, the only Pearl Douglas, specifically from the movie Pearl when she's younger. Because if she was from the movie X, she would get medevaced. Anyway, so Pearl Douglas, she is by far the strongest when it comes to like pure strength. When it comes to endurance, I don't think so. Like I feel like she can take a beating pretty easily, and get knocked down. But when it comes to like pure strength with like climbing and punching and shit like that, I feel like she is the top dog when it comes to our female contestants. Because you have to remember, she works on a farm. That requires a lot of strength. So I think when it comes to being a challenge beast in terms of that, she is going to be a huge threat. Um, I feel as well when it comes to like her mental. I feel like if people just kind of reject her, the more rejection she gets, the more she's going to break down and become an unbearable person. I genuinely feel like that will be her downfall because that's just the type of person she is. But yeah, I am really excited to see how Pearl does because she is, I think, out of all these characters, the definition of a coin flip of whether she's going to do good or not.
Mm. Well, for me, our next tribe member, who I think would do well, I mean, from the currently, I think, modern horror classic Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3, and eventually Terrifier 4, it's the final girl, Sienna Shaw. Sienna really made a name for herself, her not being relevant or a thing in the first Terrifier movie, which um is a huge deal, I feel like, as well, because there's not really been somebody who's been such an iconic role from a sequel to a horror movie that I could think of off the top of my head. Sienna endures quite a lot with Art the Clown and his terrifying antics, um, dying, coming back, rebirth, all of that. Sienna is a very strong contender. I feel like, um, looking at the cast, like a top four finalist material for sure. So I'm excited to see Sienna dominate the competition, and I'm interested to see how she's going to socially interact with some of these other figures in horror as well.
I agree. I think when it comes to endurance, I think she is the best when it comes to our female contestants. Like she literally died and came back. If that doesn't scream peak endurance, I don't know what does. You know. Um. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Randy Meeks. Now, to make it to where he doesn't hold a grudge against Nancy Loomis, this is specifically Randy from Scream 1, not Scream 2. Otherwise, that would
Yes.
be really bad. So, Randy Meeks is like the know it all when it comes to horror. He knows everything, the ins and outs of every single horror situation that there could be. He knows, like, who the killer is pretty quickly, and the scene was removed from the movie, but he knew when Stu was the killer. He didn't have to like see Stu kill or anything. He knew. And he also knew Billy was the killer. He figured out before everyone else. So Randy Meeks is a really smart guy. And unfortunate that, after Scream 2 we didn't get to see him anymore. But, I love his character. I think again, he is an extremely smart guy. I say like when it comes to endurance, he's really strong because if you remember in the first movie, he got shot at point blank range in the chest and he was able to get up in like 15 minutes like it was nothing. So I think when it comes to like that, he's also going to be really strong. So Randy Meeks, I think, is going to be another big threat, especially if he makes it to merge. Randy's going to be definitely one to keep eyes out for.
All right, and moving on to both of our last tribe members is a Vilmer Slaughter from the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Hold for applause.
Otherwise known as TCM4.
Just kidding. It's not the best movie ever, and I wouldn't be surprised if you do not know who this man is. But Matthew McConaughey looks amazing in this picture. Um, and so much to say about Vampire Slaughter. I haven't seen Next Generation in quite a while. Maybe I'll watch that later tonight. It's just a refresher after this is all done. But I'm excited to see Vilmer's charisma come across with this tribe. I think he's a great addition, bringing a little bit different perspective to what the others have to offer.
I agree. I think he's definitely going to be a big physical threat for sure. Um.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, last but not least, Sadie Cunningham, and yes, it was not intentional. There are two Cunninghams on this. So, Sadie Cunningham, for those of you who don't know, which might be a decent bit if you don't like look at some of the more underground horror movies, I guess. Sadie Cunningham is from a movie called Tragedy Girls. It is another horror comedy if you can't pick up a trend with what we like. Um, so Sadie Cunningham is the main character we follow in the movie, and she is the strangest final girl I'd say on this list, maybe except for Pearl. Um, she is a villain, but she has kind of like this arc in the movie. I won't go into too much spoilers, but I'll say she has a certain arc that makes you think a different way about her, but then you're like, oh, she's still the same person. Never mind. Sadie Cunningham is a cold blooded killer that will do anything for fame. Kind of like Pearl, but the internet version of Pearl. Um,
Yeah.
but Sadie, I think, unlike Pearl, when it comes to like the mental and strategic ability, she definitely has it more unlocked than Pearl does. So I think when it comes to strength, Pearl is better, but when it comes to mentality, Sadie is better. So they are very similar, and I'd honestly like to see them get along together. I think they could be a pretty strong power couple. But anyway, that's all of our
All right.
contestants.
That is everybody. We're about to get into our very first reward immunity challenge. But before we do that, from each of our tribes, let's pick out a top two from mine that you think that would make it to the end, and then a top two from yours. I'll go ahead and start with my personal top two from my tribe. Um, I think are going to be Shaw and Vilmer Slaughter.
Okay. So,
And from you, who do
yeah.
you think?
From my tribe, who I think is going to go far? Man. Okay, this is a tough one. I want to say Randy, but I think he's just going to be noticed as a strategic threat during like the beginning of the merge. So I don't know, but I'm going to choose him anyway. So I'm going to choose Randy, and I'm stuck between choosing Asami and Sadie. I think I'm going to go Asami because I think she can go under the radar more. Because she is a more kind of quiet and reserved kind of person.
Mhm. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
From your tribe, for me, I'm seeing possibly Leprechaun,
I can see it.
and I could see Kyle kind of also being that quiet mouse.
Right. From your team, um, I want to say Sienna Shaw too. I agree with you there. I don't see any world Sienna gets voted out before merge. And
Now should be first of all.
can you imagine? And for the next one, I'm stuck between two again. I'm stuck between Nancy Loomis and Jordan. But I think I'm going to choose Nancy Loomis just because she has that motherly vibe. And I think people are going to really find themselves attached to her, and that's going to bring her to the merge. I could be
All
wrong,
right.
but, you know, that's my prediction. Because, if you watch Survivor, people that are like the mother figures. 9 times out of 10, they're either one of the very first boots, or they make it to the finale, pretty much.
That is true. And for all of you watching, listening, uh, feel free to comment down below before we get to the end. Don't cheat. Don't go to the end of the video and post your comment. Post your comment now. Who are your personal tops? It can be from a mix of both of our tribes or just one tribe if you think mine are all better than Cameron's. Feel
Which would
free
be
to pick
wrong.
out your tops. And let's see together how many of our picks actually make it that far. So are you ready to get into the very first season, very first episode of Horror Survivor?
I'm ready. My body is ready.
Body is ready. For all of you as well who know Survivor, this is going to be the Survivor Guatemala formats and everything of these such. So it's going to follow very much the exact same formats of the twists and challenges that Guatemala had.
And for those of you who might not know, I'm fairly confident Guatemala was the season that introduced hidden immunity idols. So, yes, there are going to be idols in here.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm gonna turn on the reasoning and targets and relationship and highlights once again so that those also show up so we can kind of follow everyone's vibes.
Alrighty.
All right, starting on my tribe, there are no alliances quite yet. Ori seems to not like Adelaide. Sienna and Adelaide also dislike one another. Loomis and Joseph dislike one another.
That doesn't
Joseph and
shock me.
Corey dislike one another. Vilmer and Ori dislike one another. But Sienna and Loomis have a slight bond, which kind of picked out a little bit.
Hmm?
Sienna might be feeling lost without her mother.
Right.
Um, Adelaide does not seem to like Corey. Jordan and Corey seem to dislike one another. Oh, Joseph and Sydney
Oh.
seem to bond slightly. I don't know if Sydney's just kind of oblivious to Joseph and the kind of creepy
Oh,
man that
you know what?
he is.
He's probably putting on his nice guy facade like he did in the movie.
Hmm. Yeah.
He's probably not going to reveal that he's, a freaking murderer.
She's like, oh wow, yes, yes.
Right.
And Vilmer and Adelaide have a small dislike.
So Corey is
Moving over
really
to
unliked.
yeah, moving over to your tribe. Randy and Asami have a slight mutual dislike. Pearl feels a slight bond toward Mike. Interesting. Uh, Randy feels a dislike to Pearl. Sadie and Pearl have a slight
I
bond. There
knew
you
it.
go.
I knew it.
Call them out.
It doesn't shock me
Let's
that
give you
Randy
the new
dislikes Pearl, though.
Michaela.
True.
Mike and Lep have a slight bond. Interesting. Sadie and Asami have a slight bond. Your tribe like each other. Leprechaun and Kristen have a slight
Okay,
bond.
that's kind of weird because you would think Leper minds Kristen and Freddy a little bit. Because they're
Right,
both like
because
snarky smartasses.
exactly. Sadie and Randy feel a slight mutual dislike. I feel like Randy would be
Randy
like,
is.
yeah, she's the killer.
Oh, yeah. Randy would pick that up
uh,
instantly.
Sadie and Kyle have a dislike, and Lep and Kyle have a mutual a slight bond.
Okay, so I was right.
So,
Lep's gonna be like a coin flip, whether people liked him or not. Randy, surprisingly, not
uh,
making too much friends.
right. So the reward challenge. It looks like the Bloodbound tribe win reward after they race through the Guatemalan jungle. And they win the opportunity to live at the ruins and a piece of flint. So GG's
Hmm,
to you for the first win.
yeah, but that's only
Moving
reward.
over, yeah, it's only the reward, but moving over now to our immunity challenge for those who also don't know Survivor. The tribes will compete in reward, followed by immunity, followed by the vote out at the tribal council.
You wanna know why I think your tribe maybe lost that? Because
Why?
if all the tribe members had the race, Jumbo's not running too well. Because look at his shoes, man. He got them long ass clown
He
shoes.
got the clown feet. But would he jump up in the sky though and re-land?
I feel like Jeff Probst wouldn't like that. Jeff Probst would be like, he would not. He would really dislike Jumbo for that.
Leprechaun would be taking forever to run through the jungle. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, he would. I'd say Jumbo would take longer though. Because like I think if you
All right.
promise Leprechaun gold,
Yeah,
then he's zooming.
but they have to know that.
Well, they can just lie to him.
But some of them might not know the leprechaun.
It's a leprechaun.
All right, an immunity challenge.
Yeah.
Paddle
Oh,
battle. The first tribe to light all their torches win immunity, and it's the Dead Spire tribe winning the immunity.
okay. So
So GG's.
using their canoes, the tribes would paddle out to buoys in the lake to retrieve a torch hung from each buoy. Racing back to shore, four members would run to the top of the hill and begin hauling up the canoe with a rope. The remaining tribe members would rotate logs underneath the canoe, allowing it to roll up the hill, much like the technique the Maya used to move large items. Jumbo definitely moved the large items with Vilmer.
Oh, for sure.
And who do you think the other one was in terms of the strength? Maybe Sienna?
It was Sienna, possibly
Yeah, I
Adelaide.
was thinking maybe Adelaide too. I doubt it'd be Joseph.
Yeah, I don't think Joseph, Sydney, or I mean Jordan could be another one. I wouldn't see Corey doing it either,
Yeah, I
or
don't think.
Nancy.
Yeah, I don't think Corey would stoop to that. I'm gonna be honest.
All right, moving over to the statuses after the immunity challenge. So Adelaide and Sienna are now bonding slightly,
Owen has a lasting impact.
and Jordan and Sienna find something in common.
That's good. We love to see that.
Yeah, I think Sienna and could see Jordan kind of as a familial figure as well, with like a brother or a sister or whatnot, you
Right.
know.
Plus, they are around similar ages too, so I think that
Mm-hmm.
bond also helps them too.
Yep. Over on your tribe, however,
Let's see.
Kristen and Mike find something in common.
Nice. Maybe they're both
We have
final
Leprechaun
favorites.
and Pearl bonding,
Oh,
both lasting impacts. Leprechaun and Mike have a small fight though.
mmm.
Interesting. So right now, Mike is targeting Leprechaun. Seems him as a challenge liability, which, I mean,
Yeah,
fair.
I could definitely see that.
Kyle is targeting Sadie, considering Sadie a challenge liability.
I mean, yeah, that's not wrong either.
Arnie is targeting Pearl, seeing her as a challenge
Pearl
liability.
definitely
The
ain't a
final
challenge liability.
are Pearl, Sadie, and Leprechaun.
Ooh, okay. So, I don't think Leprechaun would get voted out because he had so many bonds with people. But I do think out of these
Mhm.
three, he would do the worst in any challenge. For sure. He is not anywhere close to being a challenge beast unless it's an endurance battle. You know?
I mean, I could see that also being said though for Sadie. I feel like Sadie's just unwilling to do much in terms of challenges.
I could see that, but, I also could see Sadie doing it because she likes internet fame. So, she might want that camera on her. So she could be trying to do really well on the camera. Same with Pearl.
Hmm.
I could see them trying to show off. As with Lep, he probably wouldn't give a shit. He's a little shit.
All right. And your first tribal council, it's time to read the votes. Leprechaun. That's one vote, Leprechaun. Leprechaun. That's two votes, Leprechaun. Seven votes left. Sadie. That's two votes, Leprechaun. One vote, Sadie. Six votes left. Pearl. That's two votes, Leprechaun. One vote, Pearl. One vote, Sadie. Five votes left. Sadie. That's two votes, Leprechaun. Two votes, Sadie. One vote, Pearl. Four votes left.
Oh man.
Sadie. That's three votes, Sadie. Two votes, Leprechaun. One vote, Pearl. Three votes left.
No way Sadie's first.
Sadie. That's four votes, Sadie. Two votes, Leprechaun. One vote, Pearl. Two votes left. Third person
Wow.
voted on Heroes of Warrior Season 1. Sadie. That's five. That's enough.
I
The
would
final
not have
vote count was
expected
six
that.
votes, Sadie. Two votes, Lep. One vote, Pearl. Sadie, the
What?
tribe has spoken.
Really? They got rid
So,
of Sadie. Okay.
I feel like some people from your tribe might have gotten annoyed with her trying to do all this internet lingo and internet
Probably,
stuff.
that's
And
probably what it was.
so Asami voted for
That doesn't
Sadie.
shock me.
Arnie already said he was voting for Pearl.
Yeah.
Kristen was voting for Sadie. Kyle was voting for Sadie. Lap voted for Sadie. Mike voted for Leprechaun. Pearl voted for Sadie.
Oh.
That's interesting because they did bond a little bit, did they not?
Yeah, they did.
Randy also voted for
That doesn't
Sadie, and
shock
then
me.
Sadie voted for Leprechaun.
Okay.
So there we go. I mean, we have one of your ones that you kind of pinned as a finalist,
Yeah, I was
potentially.
not expecting that.
All right, well, moving on to episode 2. Sienna and Jordan have a mutual strong bond to one another, which is great. No
Hmm.
alliances are yet here, just in case you didn't
Yeah.
know.
Just
Adelaide
bonds being
also
formed.
bonds with Sienna. Jumbo and Corey have a mutual slight dislike to one another. That's the first time Jumbo has had an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph and Jordan have a slight dislike. Yeah, I feel
Oh
Joseph
yeah.
would not stand Jordan whatsoever.
I feel like Joseph is also not an ally. I get that vibe that he's just not.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
And I feel like Jordan realizes that and just thinks he's just disgusting for that.
yeah, probably. I mean, he's a creep.
Well, yeah.
Sienna has Sienna has a slight bond with Adelaide. Joseph and Corey have a slight mutual dislike. Wilmer and Corey have a dislike. Jumbo and Adelaide have a slight dislike. Loomis and Joseph have a mutual slight
Hmm.
dislike. And Loomis and Corey with a mutual slight bond. That's an interesting one, but I could see it.
Like I said, Miss Loomis is like she's that motherly figure, man.
Yeah.
And
And I feel like with Corey being also a killer and Loomis also kind of being a killer in a sense, then she might kind of try to coach him.
that could be too. I feel like Mrs. Loomis and Joseph don't get along because aren't they both parents? So,
I'm not quite sure on Joseph and
well,
his. I
he.
haven't seen
Oh, maybe it's
Creek
because.
in a while.
he either has a kid or he lied about having a kid. Either way, Loomis is either upset at his parenting style or upset that he would lie about something like that. So I think
Yeah.
that could be why. And Joseph is like, "Get off my back, woman."
Over on your tribe, however, Mike and Kristen feel a slight, small bond, which is nice.
Love that.
I think Kristen might remind him a little bit of Debbie.
That's true. That could be.
Lep has a small bond to Pearl. Pearl feels the same way. Mike and Leprechaun still with that dislike. Randy and Leprechaun with this like I think Randy is just like tracking down all the killers.
Yep.
Randy and Asami are now disliking one another. Pearl
Ooh,
feels a slight dislike towards Mike
didn't
with
they have a
him as
bond?
well. I don't remember them bonding, but
Mm,
maybe they did. Lep and Horny have a slight mutual bond. I could see that.
me too. I see it.
I think that that's like a very funny, you have
Yeah.
kind of weird, clownish. Um, Randy and Kristen though do not seem to like each
Yeah.
other quite yet. Might be feeling that she might be a killer too.
Yeah. Randy is paranoid. Everybody's a suspect. you know.
And Pearl feels a slight dislike towards Horny. I feel like Pearl would not really appreciate Horny's like humor.
Oh, definitely not. She's also probably
All right,
jealous
over.
that Horny became like, I guess, the star of like a restaurant and whatnot. She's like, I
Yeah.
deserve to be a star, not you.
Over at Reward, however, your tribe once again is killing it with these reward challenges, and they win fishing supplies. After racing one member at a time up a ramp and onto a spider rope web, retrieving bags, and then bringing them back to win.
I feel like my tribe wins that because my tribe does have some pretty light characters. Like you have
And
Lep,
they don't have
Asami,
Jumbo. I get it.
Pearl.
I
Yeah.
get it.
No, I was just saying that because like look, freaking you have Kyle who's a teenager, Leprechaun who's a literal leprechaun, Pearl who's pretty small and dainty, Asami who's built like a twig, you know, and Kristen, Randy, and Mike. I don't remember if Mike's a teenager, but Randy and Kristen are literal teenagers still. I guess the only liability in that challenge might be horny. So I think that's where my team shines in that because they're just very light.
Yeah, for sure.
Then and you have like Joseph and Jumbo who are like big brawly men.
All right, moving on to the immunity challenge. We have the drag through
Yeah.
mud. Both tribes are attached to ropes, and they do a kind of tug of war until one fall into the mud pit. Um, and yeah, blood-bound tribes somehow win immunity. I don't know how
Yeah, that one
with the
confuses me.
big boy Jumbo, but they do.
Hmm.
Over on Deathspire, Joseph and Jordan have a major fight.
I
Definitely
don't
see that
deny
coming.
that. Yeah.
Jumbo and Mrs. Loomis find something in common. Don't know what that would be.
Should we try and think about it? What
I thought
would they
about it and
have?
my brain hurts.
I yeah, I genuinely don't know what they would have in common other than they're both kind of sick in the head.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't think of anything they would
I
have
think
in
we'll have
common.
to wait for
Context.
more development to come up with
Yeah.
that. But Mrs. Loomis is also impressing the rest of the team, which is great. We have some individual targets. Joseph, obviously targeting Jordan, considering them a challenge liability. Jordan, targeting Joseph, thinking the same of him. Vilmer is targeting Sienna, which he considers her a challenge liability. Ori is targeting Jumbo, considering him somewhat weak.
What? Is Corey stupid?
Sienna is targeting Sydney, slight negative opinion about her, and considers her a little weak, which is fair. There's no group targets because there's no alliances quite yet. The
Oh
three
wow.
final targets are Sienna, Jumbo, and
I
Jordan.
don't want to see any of them go.
Yeah, I don't
How's
either. However,
Joseph
I feel
not
like
in the final?
I feel like it would be between like Jordan or Jumbo,
I
but
feel
we
like
have to
that too.
see.
Because there's no.
It could be for Jordan because of the fight. People might be over a
Yeah,
fight.
that's true. Yeah.
Because that's usually how it goes. If there's a
And
fight, someone has to go.
plus, plus Jordan's younger, so Jordan's probably making a bigger deal about it, and that's probably what people are, you know, seeing.
Yeah, over on your tribe, however, Pearl decides to have a major meltdown.
Yeah. I mean, look at that picture. She's literally crying.
Following that meltdown, though, Horny and Pearl then bond. So good for them making up.
I I wonder what they would have bonded over. Maybe Pearl was like, you know what? Maybe you can teach me how to be a star. You know, because Pearl is flip floppity.
Yeah, for sure. She does have that about her. Mike also is working hard at camp and he comes tired.
Yeah, that makes sense. He gets tired really quickly.
All right. Here we are at tribal council for the first time of the Deadspire tribe. It's time to vote, and I will read the votes. First vote.
Ooh,
Oh my God. Let me scroll. There we go.
Joseph.
Joseph.
Yeah,
One vote,
get
Joseph.
that fucking guy out of here.
Sienna. That's one vote, Joseph. One vote, Sienna. 7 votes left. Sydney. That's one vote, Sydney. One vote, Joseph. One vote, Sienna. 6 votes left. Jordan. That's one vote, Sydney. One vote, Jordan. One vote, Joseph. And one vote, Sienna. 5 votes left. This is definitely,
Imagine next
I
vote is
think, the
Jumbo.
first one we ever did that has had four
Four,
different people vote.
yeah. Watch, it's about to be five with Jumbo. Check this out, guys. You're gonna want to see this. Aw.
Sienna. Wow. 2 votes, Sienna. One vote, Sydney. One vote, Jordan. One vote, Joseph. 4 votes left.
Wow.
Sienna. Wow. 3 votes, Sienna. One vote, Sydney. One vote, Jordan. One vote, Joseph. 3 votes left.
No way.
Jordan. That's 3 votes, Sienna. 2 votes, Jordan. One vote, Sydney. One vote, Joseph. 2 votes left. Jordan. It's 3 votes, Jordan. 3 votes, Sienna. 1 vote, Sydney. 1 vote, Joseph. 1 vote left.
Who do you think is gonna be? You think it's gonna be Jordan or Sienna? I feel like it's
I want
gotta
to
be
see Sienna
Jordan.
go. I want to see Sienna go on more, so I have to say Jordan.
I think it
The
will.
second person.
Well, you can't choose off of who
But
you want. You have
I
to,
know.
you know, base it off in terms of the games. Who do you
I'm still
think it will
basing
be?
off of those games because
Yeah, I know.
Jordan
I
had the
think, yeah,
fight.
that's what I'm basing off of too. Jordan might have made some more like enemies and made people's like look at them differently because of that fight. I don't know. I'm thinking it's gonna be Jordan. I'd be really surprised if it's Sienna. Because Jordan, you know, Jordan was said they are weak in challenges. You know, they had this major fight, and all Sienna's it was like someone claimed, oh, they're not great at challenges. It's just one person. I would be
hmm
shocked if Sienna gets voted out off of that. But let's
All
see.
right, the second person voted out Survivor Season 1, Sienna.
No!
Ah,
Two
that's four
people we
votes, Sienna.
thought we.
3 votes, Jordan. 1 vote, Sydney. 1 vote, Joseph. Sienna, the tribe has
I
spoken.
thought Sadie was gonna make it far, and you thought Sienna was gonna make it far.
Yeah,
Wow!
fuck. Sienna. Adelaide, vote for Sienna. Sydney, vote for Sienna. Corey, vote for Sienna. Obviously, Jordan and Joseph. Um, they were supposed to vote for Sienna, but they disagreed. Um, Joseph obviously voted for Jordan. Jumbo voted for Jordan. Mrs. Loomis voted for Jordan.
Oh,
And Sienna voted for Sydney.
she
She
got
thought she was
herself
supposed
voted
to vote.
out.
Yeah, she was supposed to vote for Jordan,
Oh,
but she was too
Sienna.
gun ho.
She fumbled so hard.
And Wilmer voted for Sienna.
So I guess you can really blame that vote on her and just being like
Because she
that.
would have tied it.
She would have, and we
Yeah.
would have had a revote. Man, Sienna. And then
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure freaking Jordan would have still gotten voted out.
Probably.
I guarantee it. No shot. People are like, oh, it's a tie? Let's get out Sienna, a person who's stronger. you know,
Yeah. All right,
Anyway,
proceeding on to episode three. No alliances still. Loomis and Sydney have a mutual strong bond to one another. That's an
yeah,
interesting pair.
it makes sense to me.
Joseph and Jordan feel a mutual strong dislike,
Yeah.
continuing that. Adelaide and Miss Loomis have a mutual medium bond to one another. I can see that both being mothers, and wanting to protect their children. Loomis and Jumbo have a mutual medium bond. Gilmer and Sydney have a small bond, which has
All right.
finally come back around again.
For those of you who don't know, this happened in the first season as well, where they like
Yeah,
connected. So
but we didn't
again, we're
get to
not.
see what happened.
Yeah, we're not gonna. We're not gonna compare. Like our thoughts transfer over to this, but because this is our
Uh,
fresh new start. We're gonna pretend like these characters
right,
never
never
have met.
Jumbo and Jordan with a slight mutual bond. Interesting. I feel like Jordan would kind of try to tell Jumbo about what being they and them means.
And Jordan would
And then
just
Jumbo's like, yeah.
no, Jordan would like squirt a flower in Jordan's face, like.
Jumbo and Corey, a slight dislike to one another. Joseph and Corey with a mutual slight dislike. Vilmer and Jumbo with a mutual slight dislike. And Loomis and Joseph with still the slight dislike.
I really feel like
Over on
Joseph's
your
gonna get
tribe,
the boot next. I really.
it would make sense. No alliances still. You have Pearl and Kristen who feel a medium dislike. Mike and Lep still with a medium dislike. Pearl and Mike, medium dislike. Mike and Kristen still bonding. Pearl and Horny have a small bond still. Mike and Kyle have a slight dislike. Pearl and Lep with a slight dislike. Kyle still disliking Horny. Mike and Asami with a dislike, and Randy and Lep with their
Dude, my
dislike.
tribe hates each other.
Yeah, they loved each other at first. They're all liking each other.
But and again, that's kind of how Survivor can be. Everyone at the start is like all buddy buddy, trying to get to know each other. But then after like, the sixth day, they're like, oh my god, I can't stand this person. If I have to be with them for one more day. I feel like that's
That's
how
the
some people
reward
are getting with like
challenge.
Lep.
Blind build, scattered around were 9 bundles of materials. One person would guide 3 people blindfolded. To collect these bundles, after collecting the bundles, they must construct the tent. First tribe to complete the tent gets their tribe mat, and get on the tribe mat wins. And it is your tribe, the Bloodbound tribe, that win pillows, blankets, and a tarp. Who do you think was guiding on your tribe?
So there were three people guiding, or four?
There was one would guide 3 groups of people.
Oh,
So it was
okay.
one person
Oh,
guiding I guess groups of 2,
I
maybe
mean,
a group of 3.
so
Person wants to help.
my
Oh yeah.
reasoning might sound a bit weird, but I think it might have been horny because he has an intercom for a voice. So I feel like he was able to be very loud, you know, and
Hmm.
guiding three groups, I feel like you need to be really loud and make yourself heard. So I feel like in terms of that, horny
Do you think
probably
he would
wins.
take it seriously, or would he play around a bit?
Probably a mixture of both, if I'm being honest, because he knows when to be serious, and then he also just goofs around at times. I would say it's either him who is guiding or Randy.
Okay. All right. Moving to then the immunity challenge, which is holding court. Tribes uh played an elevated game of Might and Court Ball. They complete and threesomes pass the ball to each other and shoot it at a target on the other side of the court. If someone's caught the ball, they couldn't walk. They had to pass. If they did walk, they had to give the ball to the tribe. First to 5 wins, and the Dead Spire tribe will win immunity, saving themselves from tribal council.
I guarantee you, Vilmer and Jumbo carried that. Actually, maybe
Probably as it
Jordan
is.
too.
Yeah.
I can see Jordan being a pro.
All right. After the immunity
uh
challenge, events, Sydney and Vilmer have a small fight. Uh-oh.
oh.
And we have our first alliance forming of the season between Adelaide, Sydney, Corey, and Nancy Loomis, with Nancy holding the highest loyalty.
Right. Again, I think it's because she's a motherly figure, man. I think mothers just have trust in like people they think of as children, you know. And Corey and Cindy are pretty young. I don't know how old Adelaide is, but isn't Adelaide also a mother?
Yeah,
So it could be like Nancy has a bond with a fellow mother, and then she sees Cindy and Corey as like her new children, her youngins, you know. So I think
yeah,
that could be a reason why Nancy has such strong loyalty towards them. Corey being the lowest doesn't shock me.
yeah. He's a little bit of a oddball.
Very.
All right, moving into your tribe. Pearl works hard at camp
Try to get that
and
screen time.
becomes individual targets. Leprechaun is targeting Mike, considering him a challenge liability. Kristen is targeting Pearl, considering her a challenge liability.
You
There
know
are
what?
no group targets.
I
Yeah,
think the reason then for why Pearl worked so hard at camp is to prove, hey, I might not have done well in the challenge, but look, I'm still a hard worker. You know,
yeah.
that could be why. If that's the case, that's a good move on Pearl, and that could potentially save her in this vote.
You could see our final targets for this round, though, are Mike, Leprechaun, and Pearl.
This is the next time Leprechaun's been in here again, so who knows?
2 times in a row, both tribal councils.
And I feel like other than maybe like the social game, he's not doing anything in challenges.
All right, it's time to vote. I'll read the votes. The first vote is for Mike. That's 1 vote, Mike. Pearl. That's 1 vote, Mike. 1 vote, Pearl. 6 votes left. Mike. That's 2 votes, Mike. 1 vote, Pearl. 5 votes left. Pearl. It's 2 votes, Mike. 2 votes, Pearl. 4 votes left. Mike. It's 3 votes, Mike. 2 votes, Pearl. 3 votes left. Pearl. That's 3 votes, Mike. 3 votes, Pearl. 2 votes left.
Is it gonna be a tie?
It's 4 votes, Mike. 3 votes, Pearl. 1 vote left. Pearl. Its
Oh
final
my
vote was 4 votes, Mike. 4 votes, Pearl.
god.
There's a tie and a revote. Those in the tie will not revote unless no one received votes on the original vote.
I feel like
First
Mike could
vote,
get voted.
Pearl. 1 vote, Pearl. Pearl.
Hmm.
2 votes, Pearl. 4 votes left.
Poor
Pearl.
Pearl.
3 votes, Pearl. 3 votes left. Third person voted out of Horse Fighter Season 1. Pearl. That's enough. Final vote count was 6 votes. Pearl
That it was a
unanimous.
unanimous.
Yep,
Damn,
I
that
think that
sucks.
what broke it was that in the end of it, she was not helpful in the
She
challenge.
did have that mental breakdown, so she is probably seen as like mentally unstable.
Yep, so we had Horny who voted for Mike originally, Kyle voted for Mike, Lep voted for Mike, obviously Pearl voted for Mike, and then they all switched to Pearl.
I'm shocked Lep got no votes.
No,
Yep. Hey,
all
smart on
right.
them though for being able to tie it. Yeah.
Our
And Mike,
next
instead of
episode.
voting Lep, fought back his inner demons. And was like, you know what? I'm gonna save my own ass here. I'm not gonna like hold a grudge for this one. You know,
Nope.
smart play on Mike. Like I said, he has his moments.
All right, the twist. The Castaways are asked a series of questions about their tribe members. Which tribe member is most in need of some nourishment? Joseph from the Deadspire tribe and Randy from the Bloodbound tribe are chosen. They both get an apple.
Mm.
Which tribe member is the smelliest? Voted Corey from Deadspire and Kristen from the Bloodbound.
I can see Corey being smelly. Maybe Chris. I mean, the smelliest.
Yeah,
The leprechaun's definitely the smelliest, dude.
probably.
For sure.
Or horny.
Jumbo probably smells like popcorn, so he's good.
What 2 tribe members deserve a picnic on top of the Mayan pyramid? It's voted to be Joseph and Mrs. Loomis.
Oh, that's a. Oh man.
And then Horny and Mike are chosen.
Joseph and Loomis? Oh my gosh. I mean,
Yeah, they don't like each
hey,
other.
at least it's not Joseph and Jordan. Can you imagine that? My god. Like Horny and Mike are just sitting there like, "Oh wow, yeah, this is really interesting. What you guys have going on here?"
Which tribe member has the most spirit? Jordan from Deadspire and Randy from the Bloodbound
I
are
see that.
chosen. They'll be staying on their current tribes. The remainder of Bloodbound tribe will be swapping to Deadspire, which includes Asami, Kristen, Kyle, and Leprechaun.
What?
Since Deathspire has one extra member, Sydney draws to stay, and the remainder of Deathspire will be swapping to the Bloodbound tribe, which include Adelaide, Corey, Jumbo, and Vilmer.
Whoa.
Those on the picnic will return to their same camp later in the afternoon.
Okay, I like my tribe in terms of
So
physical
here are
strength.
the new tribes. Deathspire consists of Asami, Sydney, Jordan, Joseph, Kristen, Kyle, Leprechaun, and Nancy Loomis. A lot of friction still here between Joseph and having to have Nancy and Jordan still here.
Yeah.
Well, your tribe has switched over a little bit as well to include Adelaide, Corey, Horny, Jumbo, Mike, Randy, and Vilmer.
So I have a prediction here. I think that on the Bloodbound tribe, I don't know if the former four from Dead Spire are all going to get along with each other. Because don't Corey Vilmer both dislike Jumbo and vice versa?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think Adelaide might do a switch up and join the original Bloodbound trio and try and pick one of them off? Maybe they pick off Jumbo since Corey and Vilmer are both not liking him.
Well, I could also see then Corey and Vilmer then gravitating easily and quickly over to the Bloodbound tribes, tribe members
Right.
to also get them out.
I agree. I think
It'll be
Jumbo is
interesting.
at the bottom of the pack on the new Bloodbound. As for Dead Spire, since there is like Jordan and Nancy both have beef with Joseph, I don't think those four is possible for them to stick together. So
No,
I think
they have to split.
I think Joseph can convince Cindy to vote with her, but I think Jordan and Nancy will go to the Bloodbound four and be like, "Hey, we got to get Joseph out. He is a challenge liability, and he is just very unpleasant to be around." So I think the two targets on both of these tribes are Joseph and, unfortunately, I think Jumbo. Hell, I'd say maybe Randy could be one too.
But we also have to remember that Nancy and Sydney are in an alliance,
That is
and the other alliance
true.
members are Adelaide and Corey, who are on the opposite tribe now. So there could be an interesting dynamic there. So I guess we'll have to see what happens now that they are swapped.
I agree.
So our statuses are still the alliance is there. Nancy and Sydney on the same
Let's see
tribe.
this.
Joseph and Jordan continue the mutual extreme hatred. Sydney and Loomis have a strong mutual
Yeah,
bond.
with them being the only two of
Leprechaun,
their core alliance together, they have to bond.
yeah, Leprechaun and Kristen have a small bond. Kristen and Mrs. Loomis have a mutual slight bond as well.
Okay.
Jordan and Sydney with a slight bond. Leprechaun and Sydney also with a slight
So
bond.
he's probably, oh, you're such a cute little shit. Aw. You can do no harm. You're like a little gremlin.
Yep. Mrs. Loomis and Joseph still with a slight dislike. Jordan and Asami have a slight dislike. Kyle and Asami still disliking each other, and Joseph and Asami with a slight dislike to one another. So no one seems to like Asami.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me though.
Over on your tribe, we still have Adelaide and Corey together. All right,
All right. Anyway,
good.
so I think now that we're seeing this right here with Vilmer having a mutual dislike with Adelaide and Corey, maybe that switches things. And maybe Corey and Adelaide are like, okay, maybe instead of Jumbo, since Vilmer is being kind of shitty, we take
Yeah.
him out instead. But if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see Adelaide and Jumbo. They also have a mutual dislike. I think if Corey also has a dislike with Jumbo, it'll be like a 50-50. And I think
Yeah.
the original trio from Bloodbound can choose who they want out. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Oh no!
something's going on. I think Nancy Loomis might have been the one holding them together.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah.
Mike and Jumbo with a dislike, Randy and Horny disliking, Vilmer and Jumbo also disliking, Mike and Horny disliking. You have a bond between Corey and Randy. That's interesting.
Okay. Hmm.
Randy doesn't suss him out yet as a killer.
That's what we're going off of. If Randy trusts you, he doesn't think you're a killer.
The immunity challenge. Tribes paddle out, retrieve 3 of their tribe-colored bags, race back to shore, and then untie them and dump them into a basket, and then they must throw 3 of the clubs at different tiles to break them and win.
Oh, Jordan won
Uh,
that for them.
and Deathspire does win the immunity. Yep.
Jordan so won that for them. Have you seen Jordan's aim? Come on.
Yeah, Jordan can aim.
Oh, yeah.
Moving over to the tribe status, Jordan and Leprechaun are bonding strongly.
Okay.
Corey leaves the Deathspire Tribe Alliance. I think after
Adelaide,
Adelaide's
yeah.
his tiff, he's over it and he's ready to move on.
Right. Plus, I think Corey might be trying to move on with Randy.
Mm-hmm. Over on your tribe, however, Adelaide and Horny find something in common. Not sure what that would be.
Um, hmm. Maybe they're both pretending to be something that they really aren't. Like, Adelaide, she's pretending to be a version of herself that she really
Mm-hmm.
wasn't meant to be. And Horny is pretending to be this mascot, which he is not. He's just a regular dude, but he's donning this costume. So maybe that could be it. They could find, we aren't who we are portraying ourselves to be. We aren't this. At our core, we are this. But that doesn't change who we are when it comes to our personality. Maybe they bond over that.
We have Horny and Randy also finding something in common.
That one I can't think of anything.
Corey and Horny have a small fight that has a lasting impact.
Okay.
And then Randy works hard at camp and becomes tired. In terms of individual targets, we have Corey targeting Horny,
Corey does
Mike
not like him.
targeting Jumbo, Adelaide targeting Corey,
I guarantee you that's out of spite for him leaving the alliance.
probably. And they're just dislike towards one another then. And Randy targeting Adelaide.
I don't.
There are no
Randy
group
targeting her
target.
doesn't shock me.
So the final 2 major targets are Jumbo and Horny the
Wait, what?
Clown.
How is he a target? Wait, scroll back up. Was Horny considered a target? Okay,
Yeah,
Corey.
Corey. Corey did not like Horny.
Just because he doesn't like him? That's such a dumb reason. Okay.
All right, over at your tribal council, it's time to vote.
I think Jumbo
First
just
vote,
voted.
Jumbo. That's 1 vote, Jumbo. Horny. That's 1
Wait,
vote,
you
Horny.
want to?
1 vote, Jumbo.
I just they're both clowns.
You just realized that.
Yes. Well, it's because Horny, other than the red nose, like I said, he doesn't look like a fucking clown. He looks like a demon.
Jumbo. That's 2 votes, Jumbo. 1 vote, Horny. Jumbo. That's 3 votes, Jumbo. 1 vote, Horny. 3 votes left. Horny. It's 3 votes, Jumbo. 2 votes, Horny. 2 votes left. 4th person vote out of Horse Survivor Season 1. Jumbo. That's 4. That's enough. Jumbo, the tribe has spoken.
So, on our previous run of this, Jumbo
We're gonna
made
do it.
it.
We're gonna do it at the end.
Yeah,
At the end.
yeah.
Do it
On
at
our
the end. We'll
previous run,
we'll,
just
we'll
I'll just say
compare.
Jumbo's game was very different. I'll just say that.
Jumbo's game was different.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that. So seeing this, in terms of this run, it's not shocking though.
All right, we had Adelaide vote for Jumbo, Corey voted for Horny, Horny voted for Jumbo, Jumbo voted for Horny, Mike and Jumbo, Randy and Jumbo, Vilmer and
Okay, so
Jumbo.
I was right in saying it'd be Jumbo most likely as the first boot. Okay. Well, on this new tribe, I mean.
Yeah. All right. Moving into tribe statuses. We still have Sydney and Nancy.
Oh,
Still
Nancy's
have the
went up.
same. Oh yeah, it did go up to 8. Um, Same mutual hatred here. They have an unbreakable relationship.
Hmm.
Medium bond, still disliking. Small bond between
Okay,
Kyle and
so they're getting
Kristen.
better.
Mm-hmm. A small bond still between Kristen and Lep. Kristen and Asami have a slight bond, or Kristen feels a slight bond towards Asami. She has not reciprocated it yet.
Mm.
Jordan and Sydney
See,
still.
now lore accurate wise, that's where Asami gets you. She gets you making, she wants you to have feelings for her. She wants you to like her. And then once she has you reeled in, you're stuck.
Yep.
So,
You have Nancy and Kristen still, and Kyle is feeling a slight bond towards
what?
Joseph.
You would think Joseph would kind of remind her of Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah.
Or Chucky, sorry.
Over on the Bloodbound tribe, we got Wilmer still disliking Adelaide. They're still disliking one another. Horny and Adelaide still have a bond. Randy does not like Mike.
Mm.
Vilmer and Corey still do not like each other.
Do you think
Adelaide,
Randy thinks
hmm?
Mike kind of resembles Stu, where he's just kind of like that goober?
Maybe. He's a
That
killer.
might be it. Yeah. Maybe Randy just doesn't trust Mike and he's just throwing around these accusations of like, you're not a good person. And Mike's like, no. Right.
We still got the same kind of relationships here. Nothing's really changed.
Yeah.
Over for reward, the tribes are racing, cutting rope. They're going and taking it to another station, and they're chopping up a log to a second rope that they'll then release more handles. Um, Racing up a platform into a turnstile. They crank it, bring the cart up the hill, and then they gotta push the cart down the hill to win the reward. And your tribe take a win.
Again, I'm sorry. I think if Jumbo was still here, this tribe lost because of them big ass shoes, man. Running up a hill with them shoes, nah, ain't happening.
So your tribe wins chips, drinks, and a clock-proof swimming cage. The teams are now launching balls to catch them, and your tribe will win immunity.
I could see Vilmer being nuts at this. Also, I could see
Yeah,
Horny the Clown being pretty good too.
I think this entire tribe will be pretty good.
Yeah, I could see all of them being pretty good at it. I feel like if Jumbo was still here now, in contrast to the last one, Jumbo would have bodied on this challenge. I don't know why. Jumbo just like I think it's because of those big hands he has. You know, I think he'd be able to catch stuff so easily.
Yeah. Moving into the tribe statuses, Asami and Kyle have a small fight.
Ooh.
And a new alliance forms. Asami, Sydney, Kristen, and Nancy. Once again, Nancy being the most trustworthy.
Okay.
Some individual targets, obviously the same thing.
Yeah.
Jordan's still targeting Joseph. Joseph is still targeting Jordan. Leprechaun is targeting Kristen.
Wait, didn't they have a bond?
I was gonna say they had a little bit of going on before there. They liked each other.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They had
He
like a little.
considers her a challenge liability. Loomis is targeting
You know,
Leprechaun,
that
considering
makes
him weak.
sense. I will say this makes sense instead of her targeting Joseph. It's because Loomis is now in an alliance with Kristen. and she knows Alep is targeting Kristen. She's like, "Nope, you're not going after my alliance. You're gone, Bucko."
Yep. So we have our group targets. We have Sydney and Nancy who are targeting Joseph.
Okay. Again, that doesn't shock
And then
me.
we Oh, the Dead Spire Tribe Alliance 2 is also targeting Joseph.
Okay, my
So
boys
we'll see if
getting ganked.
Nancy's gonna continue to go this route
Oh wait, I just realized
or
girl
go
power.
how she feels. Yeah, all female.
Let's fucking go.
The final targets are Jordan and
This
Joseph.
beef is about to get squashed. This
Yep,
day one
unless
beef
you
between
know.
Jordan and Joseph.
Horny is resting at camp.
Uh, that's it. Okay.
All right, it's time to vote. I'll read the votes. The first vote, Joseph. That's one vote,
There's
Joseph.
gonna be at least 5 on Joseph.
One vote, Jordan. One vote, Joseph. 6 votes left.
Yeah.
Joseph. That's 2 votes, Joseph. 1 vote, Jordan. 5 votes left.
Yeah.
Joseph. That's 3 votes, Joseph. 1 vote, Jordan. 4 votes left. Joseph. That's 4 votes, Joseph. 1 vote, Jordan. 3 votes left. Fifth person voted out of Horror Survivor Season 1 is Joseph. That's unanimous. 7 votes, Joseph. One
That
vote,
doesn't surprise
Jordan.
me.
Joseph has spoken.
I think the main thing
Snuff.
that got him booted out was him having that beef with Mrs. Loomis. I really think it was. I feel like if he didn't have that beef with her, he could have spun it around on Jordan. I really think he could have.
Yeah. All right. Episode 6. Our statuses are as follows. Alliances are still here. We still got these great relationships.
Unbreakable
Leprechaun and
relationship.
Jordan have a mutual medium bond to one another now.
Okay.
Maybe being not like completely understood as people in
You know what?
Leprechaun.
I understand that. That
I feel like
is
Jordan would
actually
probably have a heart to heart with Leprechaun.
I feel like Jordan would too.
So got dislikes, so the bonds, so the same thing there.
But yet he still is targeting her after he had a bond with
Yeah.
the person. Okay, sure.
I think Leprechaun's playing fair. He's like, okay, I like her, but she's not pulling her weight here.
Yeah. I don't think he's like specifically going after her, like I want her out. I think he's just mentioning, hey, she's not doing good in challenges. She could be a potential option. Am I saying we
For sure.
need to go with her? No, she's an option though. I feel like that's how Leprechaun's playing this.
Yeah. So you still have the one alliance, or Adelaide is by herself though, but everything else looks the same. Skimming through that. Yep,
Yeah.
nothing new going on. The reward challenge, your tribe will win reward after um teams are pushing a ball to get it past their own goal line. The first tribe to get 3 goals wins reward and a shot at individual immunity. That's right, individual immunity, which means both tribes are going to tribal council tonight.
Oh fuck.
So your team take the reward, and they'll compete once again for
Barbecue.
individual immunity.
Oh, my man.
Horny the clown. That could be a good thing for Horny. I think he
Hmm.
was being
He's
targeted.
been getting targeted this game, especially with because it was him and Jumbo that were getting targeted. Remember?
Yeah, clowning around.
Yeah. Oh my, I hate you. Clowning around. Oh my god.
Right. In the Dead Spire tribe, Leprechaun's impressing the rest of the team.
Okay.
I think he's really kind of turned a new clover, if you will. A new leaf.
What is
Um,
with you with the puns now?
and he's saying like, you know what, I need to get my gold, so I gotta do stuff. Leprechaun is targeting
That's
Asami.
not gonna go well for him.
Loomis is targeting Jordan.
Oh yeah, I can see that though.
Alright, Sydney and Loomis targeting Jordan, and then we have Asami, Sydney, Kristen,
Hmm.
Loomis targeting Jordan. All targets are Jordan and Asami.
Do you think
I think this is
Leprechaun?
Jordan's time to go.
Do you think Lep will vote for Asami though, or do you think he'll realize, I want to try and look good with this alliance, maybe? I don't want to be the next one on the outs, maybe?
It depends his loyalty though with Jordan because they did bond
Right.
quite a bit.
That's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know. I feel like Leprechaun is just going to be on the outs. I feel like he wants to play a fair game and
I mean,
play with who he likes. So it'll be
I
interesting to see these votes.
I can see that.
All right, over on your tribe, we have Horny targeting Corey as usual. Corey's targeting Mike. Vilmer targeting Adelaide. And those are your three final targets.
Oh man, I think Corey goes.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Horny has the immunity necklace, so no votes can be cast against him. I'll read the votes. First vote, Corey. It's one vote, Corey. Corey. It's two votes, Corey. Four votes left. Corey. That's three votes, Corey. Three votes left. Adelaide. It's three votes,
Ooh.
Corey. One vote, Adelaide. Two votes left. Adelaide. It's three votes, Corey. Two votes, Adelaide. One vote left. Adelaide. Final votes were three votes, Adelaide. Three votes, Corey. There's a tie to revote. Those in the tie will not revote unless no one received votes on the original
I think
vote.
it's gotta be Corey because Corey's not forming bonds with anyone except for Randy, right?
Yeah. But Adelaide also doesn't have any real relationships on this tribe.
I, she doesn't? I thought she had like
Ye-
two.
I mean, she hasn't formed an alliance, I guess you could say, with anyone
True, that's
official.
true. Oh man.
Adelaide. It's one vote, Adelaide. Adelaide. It's two votes, Adelaide. Two votes left. Six-person vote out of Horror Survivor Season 1, Adelaide. That's three. That's
Wow.
enough. The final vote count was four votes, Adelaide.
That's gonna hurt the girls'
Look,
alliance though on the other
tribe
tribe.
has spoken. Oh, yeah.
Do you think maybe that's why they voted her out? Because they know she's good with other people in the other tribe?
Well, let's see. We had Horny voted for Corey, but then changed to Adelaide. He flipped to avoid a deadlock.
I don't know why he would switch. Because he has
He didn't want
immunity.
to. Well, that's true. Maybe he has some unofficial like talks of an alliance in the works.
Maybe.
Also had Randy. He
No.
voted, also hoping to
Oh.
avoid a deadlock.
Wait, I don't know why he voted for Corey. He seemed like he was good with him.
Yeah. But I guess he also had a personal like towards
Yeah.
Adelaide. All right.
Wow. Okay.
Moving on to the Deadspire Tribal Council. It's time to vote. No, I'll read the votes. The first vote, Jordan's one vote, Jordan.
Yeah.
Asami, one vote, Asami, one vote, Jordan. Five votes left. Jordan, that's two votes, Jordan. One vote, Asami. Four votes left. Asami, it's two votes, Asami. Two votes, Jordan. Three votes left. Asami, three votes, Asami. Two votes, Jordan. Two votes left. Jordan, that's three votes, Asami. Three votes, Jordan. One vote
Wait.
left.
Okay, so either her alliance betrayed her, or someone from the alliance is a snake. There's a mole in the alliance, or they just decided to betray her.
Yeah.
Not my girl, please.
The seventh person voted out of Horse Forever Season 1, Jordan.
Okay, my heart almost sank.
As the winner of individual immunity, Horny had to give immunity to one player at Tribal Council.
Oh,
Gives
Kyle.
the immunity necklace to Kyle. Jordan, the tribe has spoken.
Yeah.
Snuff.
Honestly, that would have been a really big brain move if they got Asami out. I can't lie. I would have been sad that she's gone, but man, that would have been. I would not be like, upset at them for doing that because that would have been gnarly.
So yeah, Asami Sydney voted for
I think it's
Jordan.
just a
Jordan
really
voted for
good move.
Asami. Kristen voted for Jordan. Kyle voted for Asami. Leprechaun voted for Asami. So yeah, Leprechaun did keep it real with Jordan.
Yeah.
We had Loomis vote for Jordan. So yeah, everyone voted with their alliances.
Yeah, I mean, with that core four alliance, there's not much you can do about it. And now, if the tribes stay
No.
and they stick with that alliance, Lep and Kyle are just gone, man.
Yep, yep. All right, moving on. Episode 7, we're going into the tribe statuses. We still have the alliances here. We have an 8 and a 9 with Sydney and Nancy. Very, very strong alliance between those two.
Mm.
Nothing changed on their loyalty
See,
on the
here's the thing:
second
if
alliance.
I'm a Sami, my loyalty goes up because any one of those three could have just flipped and she's gone. So I would put so much more trust into these three. So I don't know why her loyalty is only at a five.
I
You
don't know
know?
if she wants to.
Yeah, I Asami is a really strange girl. Like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, the alliance here is a 2-2. You have two from your original tribe and two from my original
yeah,
tribe. I
exactly.
don't think that she was particularly worried of Kristen flipping vote, because why would she need to flip the vote? There's nothing really
Well,
pushing that Kristen would be leaning towards the
I'm
other
thinking Cindy
tribe.
or Nancy could have flipped. Specifically Cindy, because she's a dumb blonde.
Yeah,
And plus, she liked Leprechaun and might have went with him. But, I think
but
Nancy
also
was the reason
Sydney
why
and
she.
Nancy have a
Yeah,
strong alliance.
yeah, exactly. I think.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think this is an alliance we see go till the end of the game unless it gets noticed. Randy would
Yeah.
notice it.
So we still have the same relationships here. We have mutual bonding. Leprechaun and Kristen feeling mutual bonds towards one another. Mrs. Loomis and Leprechaun with a small
Oh,
bond.
this is looking really bad for Kyle. Then if they go to tribal again, Kyle's next.
Kyle and Asami have the dislike. Lep and Asami have a small bond. Loomis and Kristen, it's the same, mutual bonding. Kyle and Kristen have a mutual bond still. And yeah,
Yeah, Lep seems to be getting along with everyone, but Kyle has a thing for Asami. So,
yeah,
ooh, look at that! Extreme!
extreme hatred. Horny hates Corey. Disliking. Corey only feels a medium
Medium.
dislike though to Horny.
I mean, to be fair, Horny
Um,
does have a temper.
oh yeah. Randy and Horny have a slight bond to one another.
Hmm.
Same thing with
Oh,
Corey
that'll be interesting because Horny and Corey hate
and
each other, but
Vilmer and
Randy's
Randy.
bonding with both of them.
Yeah, so he's on the right. He's not. Has Killer Dar
So how?
is not going off.
I feel like who does Vilmer dislike more, Horny or Corey? I think he might dislike
Um,
Corey more because he's been with Corey since the very beginning. So he might be just
yeah.
getting sick of him.
For reward, it's the Dead Spire tribe that win, and they win a chocolate feast and a zipline canopy tour of the Guatemalan jungles. So they had to wrap cloth around their bodies and then unwrap themselves and make it to the finish line. Yeah.
I, you know what could go on if they, if they lose, and then I'll talk about it.
Okay. Going into the immunity challenge. Also, side note, the Leprechaun's the only male character left on this tribe.
Oh yeah. Oh, targeting.
But he's also been getting his likes in with everybody, so.
That's true. He's a ladies' man.
And Deadspire win immunity for the Tomb Raider challenge, which was all about configuring a puzzle correctly.
I can see them being well at that. I feel like Randy would have to try and carry for the. Oh wow, nothing. Okay.
Nothing happens in Deadspire tonight,
Yeah.
but in the Bloodbound tribe,
Oh
Horny and Vilma
man.
Adra fight. Randy's completely worn out from that challenge, but has not given up.
I think it's gonna be horny, man.
Horny's targeting Corey. Randy's targeting Mike. Corey's targeting Horny. All targets are Corey and Mike.
I can see why Randy would target Mike because he has bonds with Corey, Horny, and Vilmer. right? So he doesn't want to lose anyone he can consider a potential ally. Mike, he doesn't like. And so he might try and
Yeah.
convince the people he has bonds with, hey, you might not like so and so now, but Mike is on the outs right now.
Also, your tribe is all of men.
This is true.
That's weird. Okay. It's time to vote.
That's why they
I'll
lost
read
the
the
brains
votes.
challenge.
Right. The first vote, Corey. It's one vote,
Mhm.
Corey. Corey. It's two votes, Corey, three votes left. Mike. It's two votes, Corey, one vote, Mike, two votes left.
Is this Mike's time?
Mike. It's two votes, Corey, two votes, Mike, one vote left.
Here's the thing.
The eighth
Okay,
person voted out.
so Horny most likely voted Corey. Randy probably voted Mike. Mike probably voted Corey. Vilmer, I don't. Do you think he voted Corey?
Vilmer doesn't like Corey.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking. I think Horny, Vilmer, and Mike, or Horny, Vilmer, and yeah, Mike voted for Corey,
Yeah.
and I feel like
So the eighth person voted
yeah,
out is
yeah,
Corey. It's
I
three
was
votes, Corey,
right.
two votes, Mike. Corey, the tribe has spoken. Snuff.
Yeah, that's just like I said.
All right. Which leads us to episode 8, The
The
Merge of the
merge.
Aspen Fire Tribe. We have Asami Yamazaki, Sydney Campbell, Barney the Clown, Kristen Parker, Kyle, Leprechaun, Mike Tobacco, Nancy Loomis, Randy Meeks, and Vilmer Slaughter.
Right.
Anyone here that you're surprised to see?
Like a leprechaun, really. I'm genuinely shocked. Like, again, I knew he was gonna be like a coin flip on how he's gonna act, but it's still surprising. Horny the Clown
Yeah.
as well is another shock, considering like he's had hatred towards a few people. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think Leprechaun really had to change his game when he did get flipped to the opposing tribe.
Right.
And I think he's been playing a pretty smart game, so I'm gonna be curious to see how now he's going to play the game now that everyone is competing for themselves,
Very.
and trying to make it to the end.
Leprechaun is like the underdog here. I'd say Leprechaun and Mike are honestly underdogs.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see who prevails through now that they're all individually competing. They will all compete for individual immunity this time, and everyone will always be up at Tribal Council. Um, or your predictions for the final two? Who do you think they are now that you
Final
have
two.
seen who the final 10 are?
I honestly think so. If Asami, Cindy, Kristen, and Nancy stick together, Nancy and Cindy. Because here's my thought process, right? They keep Kyle along, and they're a group of five, so they can just pick off the men. Because Vilmer and Horny don't like each other. So I think what they can do is, since it'll be like Nancy, Cindy, Kristen, Asami, and Kyle, say that's the final five. Nancy and Cindy, since Kyle doesn't like Asami, they can bring in Kyle, take out Asami and Kristen, then Cindy and Nancy backstab Kyle, Cindy, Nancy in the finale. That's my thought process.
So, but do you see Sydney and Vilmer, since they did have a prior bond to one another when they both were originally on their tribes, do you think that that could come back and play another factor?
I mean, they had a little fight too, like a little disagreement, didn't they?
They did have ones, yeah.
So I
But
don't.
that was also right before they got split back off.
Right, so that could have left like the last impressions of each other is they didn't get along, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
that is another potential, you know? I I honestly think Final Four will be Asami, Cindy, Nancy, Kristen, and they're gonna drag either Lep or Kyle.
Okay.
But if
Let's see
Nancy
what
and
happens
Cindy
in
are
our
smart, they
first
bring in
round.
Kyle. But yeah,
Yeah.
if a man, I'm not sexist, but if a man wins this, I would genuinely be shocked because the girls have such a strong core right now.
Mm-hmm. It is a 5-5 split, so there's 5 men, 5 women.
Right.
So pretty even distribution. It just depends on how they all
That's
are going
something we
to
really
now
see in
interact.
Survivor.
Yeah. Other than the tribe when they were split off like that at the
Right.
beginning. All right.
Which I fucking hate when
The
they do
tribe.
that.
So the hidden immunity aisle is now out in play. We'll see if anyone finds it.
Hmm.
Sydney and Nancy still with their strong alliance. You still got the Deadspire Tribe Alliance too. Same thing, nothing's changed on loyalty. Um, oh, we have Leprechaun and Sydney feeling an unbreakable relationship now to one
Ooh.
another. So I feel like Sydney's or Leprechaun maybe put Sydney under like a little spell, other than the fact that she's a little oblivious and trusting.
Yeah, he thinks he's just a little garden fairy.
We have still the dislike there. Mike and Kristen feeling a strong bond to one another. They originally were on the same tribe and then got split off, so
Right.
they're back to intermingling. They still have the same kind of relations. Yep, nothing else has changed. A couple of changes for relationships, but
Ooh!
Asami takes the first individual immunity
Wait.
challenge win with the infamous pothead challenge. You have to hold a pottery pot on your head on a box. God.
Honestly,
I can
yeah,
definitely see her winning.
I because she does. I believe she did ballet. And you have to be very delicate and precise when you're doing that, because people don't realize how difficult ballet is. It is one of the most challenging physical activities you can do. You know,
Yeah,
because you are constantly like people don't realize how well coordinated with your legs and feet you have to be for ballet. It is remarkable. So I can definitely see her doing phenomenal in this.
for sure. Yeah. And it shows. She is the keeping herself safe for another week.
Good for her.
Moving into our tribe status. Hidden immunity idol is still hidden. Leprechaun is impressing the rest of the team, which, like I said, I think he's going to continue being that kind of positive figure, I guess.
I agree.
But Tony and Vilmer have a huge fight.
Dude, I can just imagine Horny yelling at the top of his lungs with that stupid intercom voice on, like, "That's it, I'm gonna bash your brains in!"
Matthew McConaughey's like, yeah, come on.
Come on, let's, it's Matthew McConaughey, let's tussle. I don't know how he sounds.
All right. Oh, a big change on the Despire Tribe Alliance.
Oh, wow.
Asami decides to split herself off, and a new tribe forms of alliance with Asami, Kristen, Leprechaun, Mike, and Vilmer Slaughter.
Oh, wow.
So, what are your first thoughts?
Okay. Honestly, I think this is genuinely from Asami. She might have been listening to what I was saying, man. I think this is a smart move. I think because Cindy and Nancy can definitely pull in people easier than Asami and Kristen can. So beating them to the punch like this to form an even bigger alliance, it's huge. And here's the thing. Asami and Kristen have a bond with Leprechaun. They've spent more time with Lep than Mike and Vilmer have. Vilmer hasn't spent any time with him since the merge happened, you know? So they have, like, out of that alliance, it's Asami, Kristen, and Lep as like the main three in there that are going to get along together. So if they make it together as a five, Mike and Vilmer don't stand a chance unless Leprechaun is a sneaky little shit.
Which we don't know. We'll see how he plays the rest of the game.
Right.
We have some individual targets. We have Vilmer targeting Horny again. Randy
More
targeting Mrs. Gomez.
accurate.
Ooh. Some group alliance targets. We have Sydney and Nancy targeting Horny.
Mm,
Sydney, Kristen, and Nancy also targeting Horny. And then we have Asami, Kristen, Leprechaun, Mike, Vilmer targeting Horny.
Yeah, man.
The final targets is around Horny and Nancy.
It sucks, but it's gonna be Horny. Horny is just completely on the outs. Randy was the only one he had even an inkling of a bond with,
Mm-hmm.
and Randy is on the outs as well. I think after Horny gets out, it's gonna be Randy.
All right. So let's read the votes. Mrs. Loomis, one vote, Mrs. Loomis.
Yep, that's Horny's vote.
Horny, one vote, Horny, one vote, Loomis, 8 votes left.
That's Randy's
Mrs.
vote.
Loomis, 2 votes, Mrs. Loomis, one vote, Horny, 7 votes left. Horny, that's 2 votes, Horny, 2 votes, Loomis, 6 votes left.
Whoa.
Loomis, that's 3 votes, Loomis, 2 votes, Horny, 5 votes left. Horny, that's 3 votes, Horny, 3 votes, Loomis, 4 votes left. Horny, it's 4 votes, Horny, 3 votes, Loomis, 3 votes left. Horny, that's 5 votes, Horny, 3 votes, Loomis, 2 votes left. This ninth person voted out of a horse war for season 1. Horny, 6, that's enough. Final votes were 7 for Horny, 3 for Loomis. Horny, the tribe has
He's part of
spoken.
the jury, though, right?
What's up?
Is he a part of
No.
the jury? No, he's not?
The first two voted out after merger, not jurors.
Oh, uh, oh, really? Okay. Because I know it's changed so many times in the show, so I didn't know. Okay. Damn, poor Horny just barely missing out. So I'm curious to see who voted for
Yeah.
Loomis, other than Horny and Randy.
Let's see.
Maybe
Do
Kyle?
so. Loomis,
Yeah, Kyle.
Kyle voted for Loomis. Randy voted for Loomis.
Mm. I could also see them voting Horny because he might be like, on top of him just being a nuisance and fighting with people, he is also a pretty strong contender.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
But they could have taken him along as like a
Episode
goat, but,
tribe status.
let's see.
It's still hidden. We still have the same alliance there, and there.
Ooh, Leprechaun and
Um,
Vilmer's loyalty, though. Doesn't look like it's going to be a strong
yes.
alliance.
So they did go up higher. We still have the same relationships. Mike and Lep, though. Mike has extreme hatred towards Leprechaun,
But
and they're
they're
on
in
the
the same
same
alliance.
alliance. So I
Yeah,
definitely think they were brought in separately.
oh, most definitely.
Kristen and Mike having that bond. Um, yeah.
Mm.
Um, the reward challenge. Leprechaun wins the reward and a clue to the hidden immunity idol. He decides to share the reward with 2 other cast members, those being Asami and Kristen.
Oh, let's go, my girls.
They win food. Moving into
Just
the
food, not nothing
immunity
specific.
into the immunity challenge, Asami takes another win.
Wow. Okay, I didn't expect Asami to be like a challenge beast.
It looks like they were doing something to make their way across the knotted rope bridge. And how to untie 2 wooden planks. So yeah, she's very methodical. So I feel like that would definitely be
I feel like
advantageous.
yeah, I feel like in these kinds of challenges, she will dominate.
Over at the tribe status, Asami and Leprechaun have a huge fight. I wonder what they're fighting about. Maybe
Um,
she wanted to know where the clue was, and Leprechaun wasn't gonna share it with her.
No, I'm just bringing you here for the food. We're just gonna bond over some food. We're not going to look for the idol together. It's my treasure.
like that's something Lep would do. He would keep it to himself.
Yeah.
Sorry for that voice is
Looks like we have a
annoying.
new alliance form. Kyle, Randy, and Vilmer.
Ooh,
They
okay.
all decided to come together.
Vilmer's playing this smart, actually.
Vilmer works hard at camp and becomes tired. Yeah, I feel like he's been probably getting all the food, the firewood, making structures and everything.
So,
So
so far, Asami, or not Asami, Kristen and Vilmer are both part of 2 alliances. They're the only ones
Yes.
part of multiple alliances right now.
Mm-hmm. Spread it out.
Yeah. So they're playing
Asami
the game
gets
of Legends.
injured, but gets treated and can stay in the
Oh,
game.
I got so scared. About to have another
Individual
Joseph
targets. We
situation.
have Mike targeting Loomis. He does not like Loomis. Loomis is targeting Mike. She does not like Mike. Vilmer is targeting Sydney.
Oh no.
Kristen is targeting Randy. A lot of just not liking targeting.
Yeah.
We have Sydney and Nancy going after Mike. Sydney, Kristen, and Nancy going after
Wait,
Randy.
okay, so do you think they're lying to Kristen saying, hey, Kristen, Wink, we trust you, we're going after Randy, but they're actually going after Mike? Do you think that's what they're doing? They're
Right.
just playing Kristen?
I feel like they have to because if they're going after Mike,
Right.
which given also their loyalty has gone down just a little bit,
Yeah.
um, then putting Kristen to vote Randy. I don't know. We'll have to see what the actual votes come out to because if
Because here,
Kristen sees that, I mean, would it make sense for her to stay with them?
because here's the thing, because Kristen is part of an alliance with Mike. So Nancy and Cindy don't want to tell Kristen, hey, we're going to be voting for one of your alliance members, okay? You know? They're not going to be saying that. Nancy is smart, so she's going to make Cindy shut up and not say a word about it.
And then we have Asami, Kristen, Leprechaun, Mike, and Vilmer going after Nancy.
Oh, wow. That would be a
Yeah.
huge blindside.
And we have Kyle, Randy, and Vilmer voting Nancy. So the final three targets are Mike, Nancy, and Randy.
It's going to be Nancy or
Is
Mike.
this is a big vote.
This
I think this is the biggest one so far.
this will shake everything. If Nancy, even when she gets votes, that'll still shake things up if she stays. Like,
Yeah.
she'll realize, hey, my bonds with people aren't as strong as I thought. I'm at the bottom now. I need to play even harder. I can't just be like, I'm chilling back here with, Cindy and Kristen, Nah, I'm getting targeted. So if she survives this, dude, she is going to play this game out of her goddamn mind.
Yeah, she has to.
But if she gets voted out, Cindy is just going to be like a lost puppy.
Yeah, that alliance will fall very fast.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's find out what happens. So, it's Tribal Council. Asami has the necklace. It's time to vote. I'll read the votes. The first vote, Mike. It's one vote, Mike.
Yeah.
Randy. It's one vote, Mike. One vote, Randy.
Ow.
7 votes left. Mrs. Loomis. That's one vote, Mike. Mrs. Loomis, and one vote, Randy. 6 votes left.
No shot, it's Randy.
Mike. That's 2 votes, Mike. One vote, Loomis. One vote, Randy. 5 votes left. I feel like that Randy vote might have been Kristen. Do you think
Do you
that
think
she
they?
would have
Do you think she?
believed?
Do you think she actually trusted them in doing that?
I don't know who else would vote for Randy.
I don't either. Who dislikes Randy?
Loomis. That's 2 votes, Mike. 2 votes, Loomis. 1 vote, Randy. 4 votes left.
Maybe Asami did. I don't know.
Loomis. That's 3 votes, Loomis. 2 votes, Mike. 1 vote, Randy. 3 votes left. I feel like Asami though is going to be voting with her alliance.
Yeah, because she is loyal.
Loomis. That's 4 votes, Loomis. 2 votes, Mike. 1 vote, Randy. 2 votes left. The 7th person voted Horror Story Season 1, the first member of the jury, Mrs. Loomis,
That
5. That's enough.
that was a strong
Try
move, man. She is a literal powerhouse when it comes to strategy. She is so good at it.
Alright. Yeah, Sami, Loomis, Sydney voted for Mike. Kristen did vote for Randy.
Oh man.
Voted against
Okay.
her tribe. I mean, it still would have been
It still would have been the same
Loomis.
outcome, even if she did vote
because
for.
they didn't have the numbers.
Exactly. Hmm.
So, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Alright. Moving into the tribe status. The idol is hidden. We have Sydney and Kristen still in an alliance. We have the core alliance of 5.
Wait, I have.
We have the side alliance.
Ooh, wait. Big brain play by Kristen, maybe. Maybe she voted Randy to make it look like Cindy. I didn't know, Mrs. Loomis is going home. I thought, like you said, we were going to be voting out Randy. Maybe she wants to do that to still keep Cindy's trust. Do you think Kristen is that
Mm.
big brain to do that?
I mean, her loyalty it was the highest of
Right,
the Black Alliance.
right. I do you think she
So she
genuinely
probably
fell
she
for it,
knew
or
regardless. I think she knew regardless that this other alliance, but
was going
that maybe
to?
Sydney
Yeah,
and Loomis don't know that she's a part of,
she had to have
we're
known
going
Loomis
to
was going to
vote.
go.
Oh yeah, she knew because they were like probably saying, "Hey, we're gonna vote for Loomis," and then she's
Right.
like, "Okay, well." And then Sydney and Loomis were like, "Okay, we're voting for Randy," but Sydney and Loomis, regardless, were voting for Mike.
Mike.
But Kristen was keeping her word with her alliance, being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna vote what you say. I'm gonna vote," even though at the end of the day, they didn't vote the way that they told her they were gonna vote.
Right. So,
Unless
wow.
unless the vote for Randy was a Kristen choice, and Kristen was trying to drive that vote.
That could be too. Hmm.
Because I mean, Kristen
Because
doesn't have any loyalty to Randy
yeah,
because she's not in alliance with them.
maybe she sees that Vilmer, a person from her lines, is working with Randy, and she's like, "No, you're sticking with us." So she might want to just cut ties with that. Kristen could be. I think Kristen is like controlling this game, man.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see in this episode where this game is gonna go.
I think Kristen and Vilmer are playing the game the hardest.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anything has really changed. Sydney does have a small bond towards Asami still. Um,
Ooh,
and
dislikes
Leprechaun does
Randy.
not like Randy.
Mmm.
All right, so the groups are divided into two, or the castaways are divided into two groups. Each pair races fill the pot to win reward. And it's group one consisting of Sydney, Kristen, Leprechaun, and Vilmer that win reward.
I mean,
They would
dumb reasoning here. A pot of gold. Leprechaun knows a lot about pots.
right, yeah, that's it.
That's gotta be. I mean,
They win a helicopter ride to take showers, eat food, spend the day, and watch videos.
Kristen was known as the smelliest, and Leprechaun it definitely smells like shit. So, oh, and
I don't think any of them smell the good.
Vilmer definitely doesn't have a shower where he lived before in the first place. So those three both stink. So yeah.
All right. Um, the immunity challenge.
Ooh,
Wow,
she needed that
Sydney.
after Loomis
So
got
they
voted.
are
She needed
attached to
that.
a rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attached with a rope that is tangled around three obstacles that they will have to jump and climb through in order to untangle it and make their way to the finish. The first four to finish move on to the final round, where the rope is attached to a three-level high obstacle that they will have to make their way through. The person to finish wins immunity. The rope being tangled, so they would have to like
I think
spin
she
around to
accidentally
untangle it.
wins.
Yeah, probably. Either like when you're untangling it, you become dizzy. Since she doesn't have a lot of brain up there, maybe she didn't get too rocked up there.
Yeah. All right. Uh, wow. Vilmer, he finds the hidden immunity idol.
Okay.
I think that really shakes up the game for him
Mm-hmm.
too, being in possession of this. Asami and Randy bond slightly. Uh-oh. It looks like Vilmer
Oh, he's
decides
like,
to
I have this
separate
idol now. I
early.
don't need y'all.
Yeah, I don't know if
Ooh,
that was the right move. I
I
mean, his
really
loyalty
don't think it
was
was.
low. I feel like he could have probably easily made it to the finals if he stayed with this group.
Oh, 100%
But
he would have.
he does have his other alliance, so who
Yeah,
knows?
Vilmer's target.
But I think it's
Oh,
the fact that he's not really liking Asami. It makes him
yeah,
want to leave, probably.
probably.
Yeah. Um, Rennie's targeting Leprechaun. He strongly dislikes Leprechaun. Leprechaun is targeting Mike on his own team. Kristen's targeting Kyle. So we have Sydney and Kristen targeting Mike, or Mike. I don't work. I saw Mike. Randy. Saw M. I was like Mike. And then you have Alliance 2 voting for Kyle. Which is interesting that they wouldn't have gone for
Vilmer.
Vilmer. And we have Kyle, Randy, and Vilmer targeting out Asami. So if everyone is voting with their alliances, it would make sense Kyle to be eliminated next, which would really hurt Randy and Vilmer.
Unless, hear me
Unless
out.
Vilmer is strong enough to give Kyle the hidden immunity.
Exactly. If Kyle gets saved by an idol, this changes up the whole game. And this brings the ball back into Vilmer, Randy, and Kyle's court. If not, they're each going to get picked off one by one.
Alright, so Vilmer has the idol, Sydney has the immunity.
Yep.
Sydney gives immunity to Kristen.
Ooh! Okay,
Okay.
that's where that bond comes in, dude. That's where playing the game hard like Kristen was comes in handy. Kristen is easily able to manipulate Cindy into giving her that. I guarantee you. Oh,
Alright, I'll read the votes. First vote, Randy. That's one vote, Randy.
it's Randy
Asami. One vote, Asami. One vote, Randy. 6 votes left.
Oh yeah, Kyle.
Kyle. One vote, Asami. One vote, Kyle. One vote, Randy. 5 votes left. Randy. That's 2 votes, Randy. 1 vote, Asami. 1 vote, Kyle. 4 votes left. Kyle. That's 2 votes, Kyle. 2 votes, Randy. 1 vote, Asami. 3 votes left. Asami. It's 2 votes, Asami. 2 votes, Kyle. 2 votes, Randy. 2 votes left. Kyle. That's 3 votes, Kyle. 2 votes, Asami. 2 votes, Randy. 1 vote left. Final vote count was 3 votes, Asami. 3 votes, Kyle. 2 votes, Randy. Which we know Randy's 2 votes were from Kristen and Sydney.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think Kyle just goes anyway because Kyle can't revote. So
Kyle cannot revote. No.
So by default, it would just be Vilmer and Randy voting for Asami, and the rest would be voting for Kyle, right?
Do we know what Sydney and Kristen are voting?
I mean, Kristen is in an alliance, and she's been in an alliance pretty much almost since day one with Asami. So to betray Asami
But
like
Sydney's
that,
not in that alliance.
yeah, but Cindy's like a dog. She'll listen to what Kristen tells her to do.
Let's see. First vote, Kyle. 1 vote, Kyle. Asami. 1 vote, Asami. 1 vote, Kyle. 4 votes left. Asami. 2 votes, Asami. 1 vote, Kyle. 3 votes left. Kyle. 2 votes, Asami. 2 votes, Kyle. 2 votes left. Kyle. It's 3 votes, Kyle. 2 votes, Asami. 1 vote left. 11th person voted out of Horror Survivor Season 1 and second member of the jury. Kyle's 4 votes, Kyle. 2
Vilmer should have
votes.
played his idol on her.
Yep, Kyle, the tribe has spoken.
Man.
So,
Yep.
what we
There
expected.
you go. Yep.
Both 3 voted for Kyle.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at this lineup really quick. So you have Randy and Vilmer on the outs. You have Kristen, Asami, Lep, and Mike in alliance together, but Lep and Mike can't stand each other. So, do we
And you have
think?
Sydney and Kristen also in alliance.
Yeah, but since it's just a two-person alliance, do you think, other than Asami, do you think Lep and Mike, Randy and Vilmer would know Kristen's working with Cindy?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because like
I don't think Sydney would give it off that she would be working in one because she just wouldn't be like smart enough to like I don't know, stupid enough to do stuff like that.
I think Kristen, Cindy, Asami will vote with each other. Leprechaun seems more loyal to the girls than Mike does. So I feel like if they can get either Lep or Mike in with them, they can control the rest of the game. Because Cindy is loyal, Asami is going to be loyal to her day one. So unless all 4 of the boys decide, you know what, these girls are running the show, I think it's going to be a girl win.
Yeah. I mean, The, the boys now have the numbers, so
They do.
let's see. At the tribe status.
The thing is, Leopard has more of a bond with the girls than he does any of the guys.
So we have Sydney and Kristen still in alliance. Kristen's at a 7, which is pretty high. In the 4-person alliance, Kristen also has the highest loyalty at an 8. Who's really playing both? Leprechaun does have the lowest loyalty though, so
Yeah. Maybe it's because.
yeah,
Okay. Do you think
of
it's because.
Mike.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you think it's because of Mike? I think if Mike gets the boot, Leprechaun's loyalty skyrockets by at least 2 points.
Yeah. And we have Randy and Vilmer. Vilmer's still pretty low in
I
loyalty.
mean, yeah, because it's just the two of them are at the bottom. They're not going to be too loyal to each other because they know, like, it's one or the other. I think if they want to, like, even rock the boat even more, one of them wins the immunity challenge, and Vilmer plays his idol on whoever didn't win.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do if one of them wins immunity.
So the other interesting thing is that Leprechaun and Sydney have such a great relationship towards
Right.
one another.
That's why I'm thinking, like, they bring Lep in instead of Mike, because Lep has a stronger bond with them, man. He's been with them longer.
If Kristen could convince Leprechaun to leave the second alliance with Mike and Asami and go with Sydney, Kristen would win the game. She has a
Oh,
free vote with
absolutely.
Sydney.
But that would upset Asami, though. If she backstabbed Asami, Asami would not vote for her.
Yeah.
Asami respects
Uh,
loyalty.
Mike and Kristen have an unbreakable relationship as well, so that's another big one. Or Kristen, but you know,
Right.
they're just like gone looks like down. It's just
It's only mutual,
strong.
not extreme. But Randy and friggin' Mike now. Extreme, though.
Yeah. Mike wins reward, and as he would share it with Kristen.
Of course. What's the challenge?
They had to fill 3 pots with corn,
Mm.
and then be asked questions about Mayan culture, and then if they got the question right, they would smash someone else's pot.
And Mike wins that?
Yeah.
I don't know if I see that. Maybe.
I feel like he would have this weird oddball, like, just knowledge of, like, weird history stuff.
Yeah, he probably would.
Oh.
Oh.
We have a puzzle, and Leprechaun wins the immunity for that.
Oh, look at that. Listen to a story about a moon goddess. Of course, Lep's listening to that.
At the tribe status, we have Vilmer with the idol still, Lep and Mike with a huge fight. Asami and Vilmer have a major fight. That does not look too good for Vilmer, but
No,
it
not
could
at
be a
all.
strategy as well
Oh,
to
because.
get them to
Oh,
vote.
yeah. Wait, if Vilmer's doing that, like, intentionally, that's big brain, dude. Because then he can get, like, that major alliance get to vote, put all their votes on him. He plays his idol, and he votes for whoever the hell he and Randy might want. And they go home.
Yeah. We have a new alliance forming. Sydney and Leprechaun have finally tied the knot.
Let's go. Okay.
We have Randy targeting Mike, still extremely despising Mike. Vilmer targeting Asami. Asami targeting Sydney. She likes Sydney, but is aligned with her.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Kristen is targeting Randy. Kristen does not like Randy. So we have Sydney and Kristen targeting Randy. I'm sure that it's what Kristen wants.
Oh, for sure.
And then we have Asami, Kristen, Leprechaun, Mike targeting Randy as well.
Okay.
Randy and Vilmer targeting Mike. Hmm. And we have Sydney and Leprechaun also targeting Mike. So this is going to be interesting.
It really is going to be. Who do you. Hmm.
Is Sydney going to flip with Leprechaun? more than she would flip with Kristen. Her
Yeah.
loyalty with Leprechaun is 7-7. With Kristen, it's a 6-7.
Right. Do you
So
think
this is
Leprechaun's
gonna
just
be
been
another
treating her
people.
nicer and not just being like, do this?
Is this Sydney?
Yeah. Because
Maybe.
I don't know who gets voted out here. If
So
Do you think
yeah.
Vilmer would give his idol to someone, or do you think he's just gonna be selfish and be like, I'm only gonna use this when I know I'm in trouble? Because if
His current loyalty to Randy is a 4, which to
right,
me is kind of low.
it's very low. So like,
So
I don't think he plays it.
I don't think he would play it either. I feel like he wants to make sure that he's ensuring his safety
Exactly.
in the game over other people's safety. Because I feel like in his head he could think that he could win the next challenge.
Right.
So let's get to those votes. Vilmer uses
Oh,
the hidden the idol.
does he use it on himself? Okay, yeah, he does.
Oh, he does. That's a waste. Time to vote.
Hmm.
I'll read the first vote. Randy. One vote, Randy.
Honestly,
Mike.
it makes sense why he voted or played his idol though, because
He
he's
thought he
not.
had a target.
Yeah, he's not aligned with anyone except for Randy. So he probably didn't know, like, he didn't hear any word of, like, which one of the two of them was going to get voted.
Yeah.
So that
Maybe
makes
there was some
sense.
whisper that he had the idol, so they were gonna try to get him to play it.
Yeah, they wanted to flush it out.
Randy, it's 2 votes Randy, 1 vote Mike. Mike, 2 and 2, 3 votes left. Randy, it's 3 votes Randy, 2 votes Mike, 2 votes left. Mike, 3 votes Mike, 3 votes Randy, 1 vote
Mm,
left.
okay, let me think about this. So we know
Leprechaun
that.
voted for Mike for sure.
What? Oh, yeah.
Do you think
I.
Sydney flips? This is
I.
Sydney's vote, I feel like.
I think Cindy flips. She is more loyal to Lep than she is Kristen right now. I think it's my. Yeah.
First vote out of Horror Survivor Season 1, third
Damn.
member of the jury, Mike Tobacco.
Shouldn't have gotten on Leprechaun's bad side, man. That's why you
Yep,
try and bond with
bingo.
people when you are in an alliance with them, you know? Okay, so who all voted for
This is a
Randy?
streak. Randy was Mike, Kristen, and Asami.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it all
a
came down to Cindy.
four-person. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. The even split still 3 men, 3 women.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Tribe statuses.
Kristen's still pretty
Six,
loyal.
7. I think Leprechauns went kind of high on that.
Yeah.
Filmers went up
So
higher with
so did
Randall.
Randy. Yeah.
Leprechaun 8-7. Still looks like we got the same
Yeah.
relationships.
Lip and Randy still hate each other. Vilmer doesn't like Asami and vice versa. Vilmer doesn't like Cindy and vice versa. Man, do you think Vilmer and Randy can potentially control this game?
If they play it right, I feel like they could. Speaking of Vilmer, uh, they are doing the auction, and Vilmer wins some beef jerky. Randy and Leprechaun decide to split money to win some chocolate chip cookies and milk.
Ooh, it's a loved one's visit. Ooh, okay.
Yes. Vilmer and Asami split the money to get an individual mosquito net. Asami and Randy split money for a covered item, Philly cheesesteak and fries. Asami wins an advantage in the upcoming immunity challenge. Randy wins an overnight stay with a loved one. He can share the reward with 2 other cast members. He decides to share it with Vilmer, his alliance member, and also Asami, which might be a smart move to do to get under.
Who would Asami's loved one be? Would it be Shigeharu? I
I do
don't.
not split.
Vilmer, I don't know
Um,
who you'd.
maybe doesn't he have a wife? I think.
Oh yeah, Randy's bringing Sydney. Sydney
Um,
Prescott, baby.
so because of the challenge from the auction, Asami can switch places anytime on the board with one player. This is the one we can only walk on the tile once, and then it flips over and you cannot walk on it again.
Hmm.
Vilmer takes the win for immunity, though.
Okay, that one's shocking that he would win something like
I
that.
wonder if Asami was trying to now be friendly with Vilmer and Randy,
Could be.
and trying to show him that, hey, I'm gonna help you win.
That could be. What is
But I
Sami?
don't know. They
Hmm.
had a hatred to each other before, so
Yeah, Asami. I don't know. Asami is playing a really weird but interesting game. I like it.
alright. So
Oh,
Sydney and Leprechaun have a minor disagreement that is not looking too great for their
luckily it's only
alliance.
minor. Oh, the
Uh-oh.
loyalty goes down.
Randy and Vilmer's alliance dissolves.
Yeah.
So we have Randy targeting a Leprechaun. Vilmer is still targeting
So
Asami,
no,
though.
that
He's just
theory's
really
out the
disappointed.
window.
We have group targets, Sydney and Kristen voting to, or trying to vote Randy. Asami, Kristen, and Lep trying to vote Randy out.
Randy,
And
why'd you say
Sydney
it like
and
that?
Leprechaun. Randy.
Randy. Sound like the Phantom of the
Two
Opera.
targets are Randy and Asami.
It's gotta be Randy.
Alright, so Vilmer has the immunity necklace. Time to vote. I'll read the votes. First vote, Randy.
It's gonna be
One
two
vote,
Asami.
Randy. And Randy for two. Four left. Asami with a vote. Two votes for Randy, one vote Asami. Three votes left. Asami has two votes Asami, two votes Randy, two votes left. Randy, that's three votes Randy, two votes Asami, one vote left. The 13th person voted out of Horror Survivor Season 1 and fourth member of the jury, Randy. That's four
It
votes Randy,
hurts.
two Asami.
It really hurts,
Randy
man.
you played a great game, I think.
He
I feel
really
like you
did.
could have gone further.
He was constantly on
Type,
the bottom.
however, again.
Yeah.
So yeah, our votes for Asami were Randy and
They still
Vilmer.
voted together after the alliance dissolved.
Yep.
Hey, say what you want about
Personal
Randy. He
preference,
stuck to his guns.
for sure. Right, that takes us to our final five of the season. Asami Yamazaki, Sydney Campbell, Kristen Berger, Leprechaun, and Vilmer Slaughter. What a top five.
Yeah. I mean, so Asami and Kristen make sense because they are both very smart players. Cindy is most definitely being brought around as a goat. I think Vilmer as well, just being an underdog, that is like huge for him. And
He's the
Leprechaun,
wild card.
yeah, I think Leprechaun, he could come up the story like,
Oh, I've been just dragging these girls along. I've been manipulating them the whole time. I didn't actually care for any of them.
you know, he could potentially. Ooh, you know what he could do? Since he has a bond with Cindy, do you think he tries bringing in Vilmer? So it's Vilmer, Leprechaun, and Cindy, and they take out the power couple that is Kristen and Asami that have been together since day one. Do you think Leprechaun can coordinate that?
I don't know. I feel like Vilmer, he himself is a
Oh yeah, he
like
doesn't like
not
Asami.
trustworthy person. In terms of like wanting to necessarily play with anybody.
I think if Asami doesn't win, she's out.
It's a high possibility. I guess it's just gonna depend really on how these saddest of everyone feel.
Because that's the thing. Vilmer will vote Asami unless she wins. He doesn't like her. We've established this for multiple episodes in a row. So
Yeah.
it all comes down to whether Leprechaun wants to stay loyal to Kristen and Asami, where he's like, yeah, we can just get out Vilmer. If
Yeah.
Vilmer wins immunity, Asami goes home. If Asami wins, Vilmer goes home. I think that's just how this is going to be.
Let's see. Tribe status. We got Sydney and Kristen. We got Asami, Kristen, and Leprechaun. Sydney and Leprechaun. We got
Okay.
sevens here, six, two sixes, six and an eight.
Lep's loyalty went down on the Cindy one.
Yeah. Mm, nothing out of the ordinary here, besides Vilmer feeling a slight bond towards Kristen and Vilmer not
I
really caring too much for
I
Sydney.
think him disliking Cindy might bite him in the butt.
Yeah. All right, so second chance, the teams or the castaways compete for reward. Kristen wins that reward and shares it with Sydney. I think she wants to show her that she's still being loyal.
Right. I don't know how that makes Leprechaun or Asami feel though.
Yeah. Moving into immunity,
Lep
Leprechaun.
wins. Pole dancing! Of course Lep would win that.
I mean, it looks like they were shackled together with their hands and feet, and they had to reach for 10 keys. Using one key to unshackle their hands, the next bolt will unlock the rope and unwind it. Yeah, I could see him being a little, maybe he cheated a little bit, used some magic.
Possibly.
I'm gonna
All
use these
right.
keys so I can get my treasure, the immunity necklace.
Like,
So Asami and Vilmer have a big fight.
yeah.
I think this is gonna be the vote of this episode.
This determines
Vilmer
the final
despises
three.
Asami, and Asami despises Vilmer. Sydney and Kristen want to vote Asami, while Kristen, Asami, Leprechaun are targeting Vilmer, and Sydney and Leprechaun are targeting
I
Asami.
think this is the Asami vote.
Ooh.
If Asami's out, Kristen needs to be voted out next.
All right, here we go. I read the votes. First vote,
This is gonna hurt.
Vilmer. It's one vote, Vilmer. Asami. One vote, Asami. One vote, Vilmer. Three votes left.
Mm.
Asami. It's two votes, Asami. One vote, Vilmer. Two votes left. Vilmer. Two votes, Asami. Two votes, Vilmer. One vote left. The 14th person voted of Horror Survivor Season 1 and 5th member of the jury, Vilmer.
Oh wow! Okay, that was a
Vilmer, the tribe has spoken.
huge fumble. They should not have voted him out.
I did not see him going out, honestly. I thought the
I
alliances were going to vote. Let's see who voted for who, though.
yeah.
Asami, of course, voted for Vilmer. Sydney
Cindy?
voted for Asami. Voted with Leprechaun. Kristen voted for Vilmer. Leprechaun decided to keep his alliance number one intact and voted for Vilmer.
Oh
So
man.
maybe he's setting Sydney up to look bad.
Ooh, wait, that could be. That's crazy that Cindy and Vilmer voted together, but Leprechaun didn't vote with them. You would expect,
Mm-hmm.
Leprechaun would vote with one of them. He voted with neither of them. Okay. I'm I wonder why Leprechaun did that. I don't think that looks too good for him. Like,
No.
I don't know how the jury would feel about that. I personally would think it's a
He's
weak
playing a
move.
really good game.
I personally, well, yeah,
He's being
I'd
very
say
strategic.
I think that move in particular though might cost him because Kristen, Asami, and Cindy are so close. I think Lep just gets gone. So I think
Yeah.
Leprechaun he needed to vote with Cindy and Vilmer because he knows Cindy and Vilmer don't get along, right? So he could have voted
Yeah.
out Asami. Lep and Kristen stick together, and they can choose to vote out whoever the hell they want because those two are going to vote for each other. So Leprechaun could have gotten a guarantee final three with Kristen, but instead he decided to vote out Vilmer.
I don't know if he
Okay,
wants a final three with Kristen, though. Kristen's a strong player.
right. mm. I
All right,
yeah.
moving on. Not too much. We have Asami and Kristen at a 7 now. Sydney up to the 7
How
to
did
Leprechaun.
how did her loyalty get upped for him after he backstabbed her on that vote? Then again, she is not smart, so So
All right.
everyone,
All bombs.
yeah, that. Ooh, should have voted it out.
Asami.
5-4 castaways must move through a giant macaw-shaped puzzle to find one of 6 stations. Grab a 3-sided color-coded puzzle piece, then get to the end of the pool. Cross pontoons to the other side. Climb a ladder to the solving stations. Cross a bridge. Climb down a ladder to re-enter the maze. First to get all 8 of their pieces to their solving stations and form one of 3 possible images. A jaguar, crocodile, or monkey wins. Yeah, Asami would be good
Yeah.
at that.
Another puzzle.
Yeah, Asami's great at puzzles.
Moving
Mm.
into the tribe status.
If I'm Asami here, ooh, that's a small fight though.
Ooh.
If I'm Asami here, if I'm playing in the eyes of Asami, like I'm, like envisioning I am her, Asami is going to stay loyal to Kristen. On paper, that doesn't seem like a smart idea. You want to get rid of Kristen because you two played a very similar game, right? You know?
Yeah.
So I think if she were to vote out Kristen, that would look so good for her. And I guarantee you Kristen would respect that. Kristen is the type of person to be like, you know what? You got me.
Yeah.
Cindy isn't going to win
Oh.
this. So I think it comes down to. This is hypothetically if Kristen gets voted out. It would be Leprechaun or Asami. Here's the thing. I think Asami wouldn't win against Lep. I think Leprechaun has more friends on the jury.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a Leprechaun win?
Leprechaun is impressing the rest of the team. Asami is targeting Sydney. Sydney and Kristen are targeting Leprechaun. And then Asami, Kristen, Leprechaun are targeting Sydney. And Sydney and Leprechaun are targeting Kristen.
Wow.
Everyone is up for the target. They're all intermingled into their own
Asami's sticking with Kristen.
alliances. This is gonna be quite the interesting votes.
Yeah, everybody's a target.
So Asami has a necklace, of course. I'll read the votes. First vote, Leprechaun. It's 1 vote Leprechaun. Sydney. That's 1 vote Sydney, 1 vote Leprechaun, 2 votes left. Kristen. That's 1 vote Sydney, 1 vote Kristen, 1 vote Leprechaun.
Wait!
1 vote left.
So Asami decides, right?
I guess. If she is a double vote, then yeah, we could say that.
Wait,
she
this
decides.
is actually insane. We have never seen like a 3-way tie like this. I don't think we've seen
with
this
the
in
one
Survivor
deciding vote.
history, in the show even. I could be wrong, but I don't think we've seen this where everyone votes for someone. You know, except for the person.
Alright.
Wow.
The 15th person voted out of Horror Survivor Season 1 and the 6th member of the jury.
It's gotta be Lep or Cindy. Yeah. Oh,
Leprechaun.
wow. I was thinking more Cindy. Wow.
Leprechaun, the tribe has spoken.
I think Leprechaun wins this if he doesn't get voted.
No. So yeah, the deciding vote was between Sydney and Chris, and they voted together.
Asami didn't vote with her. Wow.
Only voted for
Cindy
Sydney.
backstabbed Leprechaun.
Yeah, they did have a minor disagreement, so I mean, it might have kind of weighed out.
Yeah. Man, that sucks for Lep. If he didn't get in that minor disagreement, he might still be here.
So it's an all-female finale so far.
Let's go. Finale part 2. So,
All right.
okay, this is interesting. So, other than Cindy, everyone has been on my tribe. Everyone has been on your tribe, though.
Yeah.
So, 2 people that I chose and 1 person that you chose. Do you think the person you chose is going to win? Do you think Cindy Campbell?
You know what? If Sydney does make it to the final 2, it could go one or 2 different ways. Like, people could vote for her because they, just in spite of someone that they might have not cared for.
True.
Or they will, or Asami and Kristen would be smart bringing her to the finale thinking, well, the jury's gonna see that she did nothing this entire game.
I could see, and she's been on the
and
bottom of
then
some of these
get the vote.
votes. She hasn't been a part of
So
them. While Chris and
we'll
Asami have
see
been a
if
part of
Sydney
almost every
wins.
vote. If Cindy wins this immunity, that's gonna shake things up
Yeah.
so much.
So
Okay,
there's
7 and
all
9,
the
6, 7.
uh,
Ooh,
yeah.
wait,
So
Cindy.
Kristen's really high.
Yes, Kristen trusts Cindy more than she trusts Asami, especially if that leprechaun vote. I can see that.
Yeah.
Unbreakable and just a mutual. Yeah. Oh, this is not. Cindy
Wow.
wins. It. Oh
I
wow.
feel so. This will be a big moment for Sydney as well in terms of who she's going to vote to take with her to the finale.
Is
It'll be
she
the
going?
biggest of the game.
Is she gonna stay loyal to Kristen? Kristen beats her, right?
So it says that she's targeting Asami.
Yeah, it's gonna be Asami that gets voted, man. That sucks.
Mm.
My
All right, it's
girl.
time to vote. I'll read the votes. The 16th person voted out of Horror Survivor Season 1 and 7th member of the jury,
Yeah.
Asami.
Man.
Asami, the tribe has spoken. The game that you played very well.
Yeah.
So our finalists will face our jurors, who consist of. You want to go ahead and get those out for us, side?
Asami Yamazaki, Kyle, Leprechaun, Mike Tobacco, Nancy Loomis, Randy Meeks, and Vilmer Slaughter. Now, let's talk about who we think is going to vote who. Asami, gotta vote Kristen, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Kristen did not vote with Asami. I don't know if Asami would keep that over her head or if she would respect that.
But the thing is Cindy voted out Asami. The reason Asami's on the
Mm-hmm.
jury is because of Cindy, and Asami is not the type of person to respect that.
Yeah, so I would say then Asami was going to vote for Kristen.
Who do we think
Kyle,
Kyle?
though, on the other
Yeah.
hand,
Kyle, I
that's
don't
a
know.
wild card.
Kyle
He
could go
wasn't
either way.
in as long.
Did Kyle have more of a bond with Cindy or Kristen?
I think she bonded with Kristen.
So should we count that as two for Kristen?
I would say that Kyle would see Kristen's game as stronger.
Okay. Leprechaun votes
Lep-
Cindy.
you think?
I genuinely think he does, because didn't he have like that alliance with just her? I don't think he had that with
But she
Kristen.
also voted against him.
Yeah, but do you think he knows that?
Mm,
It's not like
do you
Asami where
think?
it's like there's only one person that can vote, you
Oh,
know?
but if Cindy had voted with Leprechaun, Leprechaun's vote would have been the person eliminated.
Right. It would have been
So
Asami.
Kristen would have been,
Or
or was it Asami or Kristen? It was one of the two.
yeah, one of them.
They would have been out instead of Leprechaun.
Right.
I feel like he's gonna probably go Cindy. Though I don't think he really had much of a relationship with
I
Kristen.
mean, he definitely had one, but I think what he had was Cindy was stronger.
So that's one vote Sydney, two for Kristen that we believe. How about Mike Tobacco?
My only thing I can go off of here is he was in that five-person alliance with Kristen.
Yeah.
I don't. Did him and Cindy get along at all, or was he one of the people he had disagreements with?
I don't remember much of an interaction point with them.
Hmm. I think.
So if you're going with the alliance, that would make sense that he would vote Kristen as well, making it a 3-1.
Nancy votes Cindy all the way. Because
Yeah.
Nancy, like, Cindy was like a daughter to her, you know?
Yeah, they were an alliance very early on.
Yeah, so that's 3-2. Randy. Do we think Randy votes Cindy? Or do to tie it up? Or do you think he votes Kristen and Kristen just wins?
Um Randy. I,
Yeah.
I feel like he might lean more Kristen personally.
Okay. What makes you say that?
I don't think he really had a big point with any of them. And I think he was in the unfortunate crossfire of
Right.
like having to eliminate people, and he had to go. I feel like he might respect more of the games that they played in terms of voting.
Okay. So
Do you disagree and think he votes Sydney?
I think he respects the gameplay more from Kristen than Cindy. And
Yeah.
Vilmer's gonna vote Kristen because he didn't like Cindy.
Yeah.
So I think Kristen wins.
All right. Well, you ready to find out?
Yeah. So I think
Our
it's
final represents.
yeah. I think Mike and fucking um or no, not Mike. Leprechaun and fucking Nancy Loomis vote Cindy. The rest vote Kristen. I think. I'd like to be proven wrong.
All right. First vote goes to Kristen. One vote Kristen. Second vote goes to Sydney. One vote Sydney. Third vote goes to Sydney. That's 2 votes Sydney. If it goes to 3, we are already wrong.
Yeah.
Fourth vote goes to Kristen. That's 2 votes Kristen. Fifth vote goes to Sydney. 3 votes for Sydney. Sixth vote goes to Kristen.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's 3 votes Kristen.
Who do we think wins this?
I still think it's Kristen.
You think?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Seventh vote and winner is Kristen.
Wow. Okay.
Congratulations, Kristen. You are the winner. I believe it's gonna go into. It's gonna show us the votes next. Okay,
Right.
so Asami voted for Kristen.
Right.
We said that. Kyle voted for Kristen.
Mhm.
Leprechaun voted for Sydney.
Yeah.
Mike voted for Kristen, as expected. Loomis voted for Sydney, as expected.
Wow.
Randy was the vote for Sydney. Okay,
Okay.
he thought she was Sydney Prescott, and as expected, Vilmer then made the vote for Kristen for the win.
Wow. Okay.
All right, and then we get our fan favorite vote.
Right.
Asami.
My
I think that's
girl.
right.
Yeah. Asami did really well.
All right,
All right.
and here are our statistics. We're gonna also compare them a little bit with
I have the list pulled
how
up on my
the
phone.
first, yeah, the first simulations.
Yep. I have the very first one pulled up. So.
Let me also get a visual because I'm very visual.
Okay. Do you want me to send it?
I should have it snipped still. Yep, I
Okay.
do. Um,
So. Wow.
so starting with our first out of this new simulated season
We have
was
Sadie Cunningham. And
yes,
honestly, Sadie being first boot honestly really surprised me. You know, but she in our previous one that we did, the corrupted episode, she got 13th place. So she made it a bit further, but
yep, she was
not
still
too.
pre-juror.
Yeah. So, Sadie going out fairly early. I was hoping history wouldn't repeat itself, but alas it did. Now,
Yeah.
17th place, perhaps the biggest shocker of this whole
Oh
entire
yeah.
thing. Sienna Shaw, 17th
Yeah.
place. On our original simulation, she got 4th.
Yeah, she was up there. She won back-to-back immunity either 2 or 3 times.
She was a challenge beast. Yet,
Yeah, so I was very surprised to see her go here.
especially the first boot on her team. Wow.
Yeah, and it might have skewed my view a little bit, being like, oh yeah, Sienna's gonna get to the end. Like, she's a strong character, and knowing her previous run, I was like, yeah, that's a no-brainer.
I expect her to do well because she is strong, We had her be a strong character.
Yeah.
So seeing her voted out because she's apparently not performing well at challenges, I think according to Vilmer. Wow. That was just, it was kind of an upset, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up.
I think she would be
Oh,
one though that would willingly come back to the competition to go again.
oh, absolutely. Next up, we have Pearl Douglas getting 16th place. Now, in our last one, she got 15th. So, Pearl did, you know, she did all right.
About the same.
Yeah, a little bit worse, but, it's fucking Pearl. She was either going to do well with Sadie or she was going to give the boot because her and Sadie definitely connect. But, she got voted out. You know what else is crazy? I just realized. So, the first vote was a three-way split, 6-2-1. Then we had 4-3-1-1. Then we had a tie. That's a crazy first three votes.
Yeah.
So I just want to say we started off the season hot with the voting. But yeah,
Yeah, no one knew who they were voting for.
yeah. So Pearl getting voted out early. History pretty much repeated itself. She almost got the same exact spot. So
Yeah.
anyway, next up, another massive shock. Jumbo,
Huge.
literally a jumbo shot. Um, so on our previous simulation, believe it or not, Jumbo got second place with three
I thought he was winning.
votes. Yeah, I thought Jumbo was going to do so good, but he just seemed to be a liability in challenges, and people just didn't like him. You know, I think it also has to do with us creating him more accurate to what he was in the movie. So
Yeah.
we didn't have, the simulation just being like, oh, we think he'll be like this. you know,
Yeah.
because
He
he's
was a kingpin in the first simulation.
oh yeah, most certainly, like, he ran the game. Like, if you mentioned his name, you were out. But Jumbo, fourth person voted out, was insane.
Yes.
Next up, you want to do this one?
So next, 14th place is Joseph. Joseph was actually our second out, placing 17th in Simulation 1. However, Joseph was the first ever med evac. He was working hard at camp and then proceeded to not be able to compete any longer at camp. So that also threw that season for a loop because that second elimination was supposed to be Cameron's tribe going to tribal council.
Right. But because you got a medevac, we didn't go to tribal.
Nope.
So
But
Joseph,
this time around, he actually competed a little bit.
yeah, he made enemies instantly
Unanimous.
with Jordan and Loomis. So
Yep, he had a unanimous decision to vote him out, though. This was our first unanimous, besides the revote of Pearl.
right. And next up, do you want to do this one again?
So we have Adelaide Wilson coming in 13th place on this season. Adelaide, was another shocking, early out for this season. Previously, Adelaide made it all the way to top 3, being in a strong alliance, as part of, like, Jumbo and everybody. So, seeing her go out this soon was also surprising. She had a tie vote as well, 3-3, and then a full unanimous decision to put her out.
A lot of tie votes this season.
Yeah.
Next up, Jordan. I'm happy that Jordan made it further than Joseph, right? But
Yeah.
I'm sad that Jordan made it further than fucking Sienna Shaw. So, originally, on our first simulation, Jordan was our very first boot. Jordan was the first person voted out.
Yes.
And they made it all the way up to 12th this time. Almost, making it a bit further,
Almost
but
merged.
yeah. Almost merge. Yeah. But, just kind of missed out barely. Next up, Corey Cunningham. 11th place for this. Originally, he made it in 14th place. He was a pretty early boot. He got booted. I think he What was the reason he got booted out for originally? Was it just he didn't have too many allies on his team?
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
that
he
was
was
it.
on the lower end of it.
Yeah, I,
The alliances.
I think it was a tribe swap too. No, it wasn't. Was it?
It was a
Yes, it was.
tribe.
It was.
Yeah, there was a tribe stop. A shop. It was him, Nancy, and Sydney, I believe.
Okay.
Or yeah, they were all in the same tribe.
Okay. Next up, Horny the Clown. He made it to merge both times. So props to him.
Good for him.
Yeah, like but first out during the merge, but that's because he was pissing people off, which it's fucking Horny the Clown. What do you expect? Um, but yeah, getting 10th place. He originally had gotten 8th place, so he did a little worse. But it is what it is. Just be glad you made it longer than fucking Corey somehow. All right, this one I'm happy about. Nancy Loomis. Originally, she didn't make it to the merge. She was one away from being in the merge. She got 11th place last time. But this time, she made it in 9th place. And she got absolutely blindsided here. So I think this vote, it was so much better than the way she went out originally. Because the way she went out before was
Yeah.
pretty much unanimous, right? So
Yep.
in this, she got, you know, vote out in epic fashion. Next up, Kyle. Kyle got 8th place, but originally she made it to the top 6. So Kyle, staying pretty consistent as well.
Mhm.
Didn't do too bad, didn't do too great either. She was kind of on the bottom. I was really hoping, she would be on her comeback arc with Vilmer and Randy, and that
Yeah.
alliance of three. I was really hoping Vilmer would play as idol for her. That would have switched the game up so much. But alas, Vilmer isn't that smart. um, so Kyle ended up going out in 8th place. Next up, the boy Mike Tobacco. Mike Tobacco originally was the first boot for the merge. But now, he's made it all the way to 7th place. And I'm honestly shocked he made it so far because he seemed pretty disliked for like the whole game. Like there's always somebody that
Yeah.
was beefing with him. Most notably Randy. But, So Mike made it to 7th place, so he did better this time. So good for him. Randy Meeks. He got 6th place. Originally he had gotten 5th, so pretty much the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
But Randy did really good. I would say honestly he played a stronger game last time and just got really unfortunate. This game, it was just either him or Vilmer. Man, Vilmer was just, he's Vilmer. So I repeat Randy there in 6th place. Speaking of Vilmer, Vilmer had originally gotten out in 9th place because people were beefing with him like crazy. This time he got voted out just because he was like the easy vote at the very bottom, you know. So Vilmer again did quite a bit better, making it to final 5, which is very impressive, very very impressive. Next up, Leprechaun, 4th place. Lep originally was in 7th place on the first simulation. This time he made it to 4th. His biggest downfall was not voting with Vilmer and Cindy. If he voted with them, he most likely would have won. But yeah, so Leprechaun played a really good game this time. Unfortunately, that one slip up because he was like,
I'm going to be loyal to my group.
you know, got him
Yeah.
voted out. And honestly, this one was a real shock to me that she made it so far again. Asami. She was our original winner. She originally won the whole thing. It was her and Jumbo, and she got 4 votes and Jumbo got 3. So if Cindy didn't win that immunity, who knows? Asami could have won back to back, and I would have called it being rigged, honestly. But I'm so shocked she did so well. I was hoping she would because I love her character, but
Yeah.
I genuinely didn't expect her to do this great. Because especially since she was like beefing with people and she was getting some votes during like the middle of the game, I was saying, okay, she's probably gonna go soon. And especially when it came down to her and Vilmer getting voted out, I was convinced she was going. But she made it to top three, which, it's not winning like she did last time, but it's still, top three is fucking
Yeah,
good. Like, anyone who makes
for
a top
sure.
three in Survivor, hey, you know, kudos to you. Even if you were dragged there as a goat, you can still say, hey, I was top three. As for Cindy Campbell, Cindy Campbell got 12th place originally, not even making it to merge. And, you know, me and you, Austin, we were really wanting to see more of Cindy because we felt she got, like, cut off way too early because she got dealt the wrong hand with a tribe swap. So I think
Yeah,
seeing more of her, even though she was kind of a goat at times, just being kind of dragged along and left out of stuff, it was still very cool to see her, and I feel like she did, you know, bring a lot to this game as compared to what she did last time. Because last time it
yeah,
was her and Vilmer as a power couple, and she got voted out once they got separated. So
yeah.
seeing both of them go further than they did last time was really cool. But they
Yeah,
had a very different relationship.
this is the probably the biggest glow up though
Oh, absolutely. And
for
on,
the winner.
oh yeah, honestly, this one I was really sad when she got voted out originally, but to see her win, I know she's a fucking brilliant survivor. So Kristen originally got 16th place. So where Pearl is now, she got voted out before Pearl originally in the first simulation that we did, the corrupted one. And here she is winning. Who knew giving the character stats and making them more accurate would actually change things? um, but yeah, I am really happy with Kristen winning. I
Yep.
Yeah, I genuinely wasn't expecting Kristen to do so well, but her having that bond with Asami, and then merging in with Cindy and Nancy, and then bringing along Lep and Mike, she played the game
Yep.
extremely fucking well, and keeping on people's good sides like Vilmer and throwing a target on Cindy, to get his vote in the end. She played the game really fucking well. You know, Cindy also played the game well. I may have been the one that picked Kristen, but credit where credit's due. Cindy did super good too. You know, like she tried to put on that move to take out Leprechaun, and then she also, wanted to take out Asami instead of Vilmer. Like she was trying to do some pretty good plays. Did they always work out? No, but she tried doing some pretty good stuff. So, credit to her. All of these cast members, aside from Sadie, who got voted out first, did really good.
Yeah, they all did. And this was a lot of fun to do and put on for everybody. I hope you guys all also were as emotionally invested as we were. Apologies once again for the delay in getting this episode created, but I think this was a great way to do it and hopefully was enjoyable to each of you. And congratulations to anyone that might have picked Kristen at the beginning of this video. Again, I know if you did not pick Kristen, so don't pretend like you picked Kristen.
If you pick Sienna,
But I
then
am,
you know I am.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you will be back again with a second season of Horror Survivor to see who will join the Hall of Fame with our first official winner of the season, Kristen
Kristen
Parker.
Parker.
So, I have been Austin,
I have been Cameron.
and thank you guys for all getting buried in horror with us today. Happy New Year, and we will see you all again very, very soon.
All right, peace.